And so some of these coordinated plays where it's either a teleport in or a flank from a different side, where it does look like the timing with the rest of the team and a little bit of the coordination with the rest of the team on those plays is a bit off, is the drawback right now. But I feel like that is definitely something that will get fixed, and they can
Comes with time.
definitely build on. And as far as a rookie, it's like he's got the foundation for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a play that, is kind of burned into my brain. I want to say it was against Team Liquid. I'm not 100% sure, where it was like exemplifying the kind of like he's trying to go for make something happen. It was this play where I want to say they had like invaded enemy blue, and they were playing red side, so they invaded enemy blue, taking that away, and the team was all kind of backing out. And then I want to say it was like an Ezreal, but it was an AD with cleanse, and he just like he's armor necked, and he like flashes E's, stuns them, and they just cleanse and shift away, and then like everyone is trying to bail him out, but they all file in and die.
I want to say I was against Immortals.
Was it against Immortals? Okay.
I could be wrong.
No, I mean,
I know the situation you're talking about. I know
the exact play. I can't remember the team it was, but that was one of those ones where it's like, yeah, that's a mistake that you expect a rookie to make, but he has all the strengths that you hope your rookies would have, right? So, I mean, this guy's going to be ridiculously good. I think he already is really good. Like I said, he's easily an all-pro, and I think we have a really exciting crop of rookies this year, so it's been a pretty good one. We can move on now and talk about the rest of all-pro, as we have to submit our all-pro votes and everything by tonight. It is the deadline is midnight tonight. This was a weird year of all pro for me. I always think about the players that are on like lower ranked teams and stuff that really are deserving of all pro, and I have never once, this is my, I guess, 18th split of LCS that I've done voting for now. Because of the end of my like 9th season of LCS, and I've never once before this had only top 3 teams for All Pro. I think this is the year it's probably going to be only top 3 teams for All Pro. I've been thinking about it the last couple of days. I was trying to think about like what are the players you can really make an argument for. The closest I got was maybe like a Boogie, who I think really improved the team, but I still didn't feel that I could justify putting him above one of the junglers for the top 3 teams. And it feels weird to do those kind of voting, because those are the kind of votes that everyone always kind of sees and you laugh, where you're like, ha, yeah, like 5 T1 or 5 Gen G, first team all pro. It feels like that's the kind of split we have in LCS. And it's so hard to argue against because the top 3 teams feel miles above everyone else. And it's just so hard to kind of make those arguments.
Yeah, it is really tough because, like you said, a lot of these times, like, to be a good team, players, like, they have to work with their team and whatnot. And so I think when you were talking about players on lower tier teams, like, Boogie is a standout player. It's also hard, though, because, like, he didn't play very many games, right? Like, he was in for a little bit, and, like, I think most of his games he was on Brand, who, is a really strong champion right now, a champion he's good at, and just has, like, a ton of playmaking potential. So when you don't see him in like that many different situations, it can be hard to judge. I think Ole is also another one of those players that, like, to me, I think he's a very strong support. I think Immortals was just, some didn't come together for them this split. But like you said, it is hard to rate him higher, right? It's like who's not making it in? Is it Core? Is it Busio? Is it Vulcan? I don't know. Like, it's just because you stand out on the lower tier team doesn't necessarily mean you're better than someone on a stronger team.
And especially because we're not voting off of skill, we're voting off of performance based on the games you played on stage this split, right? So it's like you had to have turned in that bad performance, which is like the thing for Boogie was like, wow, this guy made a team that looked like they were the worst team I've ever seen all time in LCS. Like they were, it was crazy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
I mean, you're not even wrong.
Blown out of the water. Their game time was like 4 minutes faster than everyone else because they were losing so fast with no resistance put up whatsoever. And then they became an actual competitive team that I'm like, if Boogie was there from the start, they might have made playoffs, right? Like, it was a huge shift, and so that was what impressed me. But then when you're thinking about it, it's like, okay, well, you can't kick out or Blabber or Inspire. Like, all these guys played really, really well for their team. So it's just a weird one where I'm like, yeah, there's gonna be discussions about ordering, but I almost can't imagine anyone outside of the top 3 teams getting all pro.
You can shake them up a little bit and like mix the top 3 teams.
Yeah,
but that's about as much like leeway and freedom as you have this year. You can call it weird. I would say it's like easy all pro votes this year. I did mine. I saw the email and I instantly went in. Usually I like go through and like think it out a little, as I'm just getting my initial thoughts down. Then I check some stats, think about some games that I can recall. But this one, because it was so easy, I just actually filled them all out, opened up the email. I was like, okay, well, I guess top's done. That was pretty easy. I guess I'll keep going. Oh, well, I guess I'm done with jungle now. That was also really easy. And I just finished my whole all pro vote almost instantly after opening it. I was like, wow, I feel empty, a little empty inside. I think that's the feeling here where we didn't, even though we had really cool stories, like you guys are talking a lot about Boogie, I also felt similarly about this like super sub narrative with Tomo coming in and being this huge changing force for 100 Thieves, and them just constantly, not just Tomo's play, but the rest of the team then looks a whole bunch better. And you're like, wow. When you think about some of the descriptions of MVP and arguments, when people are like, well, MVP isn't necessarily the single best player in the league, but it's like who means the most to their team, then you could try and like craft some weird argument where you're like, well, it meant so much to this team to have this player or that player.
And Tomo won Player of the Week, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he had a really, really good week.
And so it's there are some really cool stories for some of the other players and teams, but it does feel a bit disingenuous if you actually omitted the players off these top three teams because they have been so clearly the top three teams.
I'm curious. So you were thinking everything was super, super easy. I'm curious what your take is on MVP then, because I think MVP is going to be an interesting discussion. I can't see a world in which it is not someone from TL.
I put Impact. I thought that one was super easy.
I feel like Impact is probably going to be the MVP. He would be my first vote for sure. But then this is maybe it's just like a philosophical thing, but I feel weird putting like a bunch of people from one team in like MVP first, second, third. Like it feels weird to do that. But the two people that pop in my mind for MVP immediately was Impact 1 and Core 2. Were two people I thought really made a massive difference this split. I think this is one of the most kind of impactful splits Impact has ever had. Like he's never won MVP in LCS as far as I know, and he almost never even wins first team All Pro. He's usually second or third if he makes it. So it is kind of crazy to see how good he has been this split. Core as well, I think, has been incredible. And every pro I talk to, and every episode when people are talking about supports on pros, people are just talking about Core, how he's always there when you don't want him to be, that he is so annoying to deal with. And it's two of the people that I think really make Team Liquid so good at lane swapping. It's Impact because he's able to play out the lane swaps perfectly, give up the minimum, be able to play from these situations where he's down a bunch of levels, down a bunch of gold. And Core is just moving around the map and frustrating people at every single turn, right? It's like, you talk to people and they're like, okay, well, if there's one moment that Core being there would screw you, he's there 100%, right? And it's just like, it's like he's in people's head to the point where they don't feel like they can push out a wave that they should be able to push out for sure, because Core is certainly going to be there and screw me over or whatever. And so I think that is really, really incredible. But then beyond that, I was like, well, who else is there? Like, who's my third vote? I thought that was really, really hard to think of. Someone who could kind of be up there with those TL guys. And that's where I was really struggling. I'm like, do I actually think someone from C9 or FlyQuest could win? Not really. I feel like TL is just running away with it. So I felt like that was kind of hard thinking through my 1, 2, 3.
It is hard. I mean, you could definitely make an argument for really anyone on TL. Like, Yon's been really impressive this whole year. APA's been impressive. Umpty as well. Yeah, that's super tough. I don't even know who I would say outside of, like you were saying, Impact and Core. I think it's been so cool seeing Core like pop off again this year, because he's had one of those careers where, like, maybe it's just because like I've played for a long time, but like I love seeing the stories of people who, like, Core is a world champion. He's literally like gone as high as you can go, and then he's had success in TL, and then he's been through slumps where people have literally been calling for him to retire. he's had rough games where people are saying he looks like one of the worst supports in the league, and now he's back to on top again. So like I really like seeing that. I think it's super cool how you can have ups and downs in your career, and I think he's just a super smart guy. He cares a lot about the game. You can tell. He was like one of the big people pushing for Champions Queue, and
one of the people who actually played Champions Queue.
one of the people who played it, and it's just cool seeing him do so well again.
Yeah, we talked a lot about teams that were kind of screwed over by metas, but Core was, I feel like, extremely highlighted by this meta. He has always been at his best playing engage champs, and we have just had bot lane engagers for a long, long time now in this meta, and his snap engages, his control of vision in order to get to places where you, like you're saying, don't want him to be, or it's a place that's going to screw you over. And some of the times, like we saw in some of the replays, I like that you called it out last week where Jad did the replay of the impact putting the control ward back there, and then you see the rest of the team kind of build on that. And, Core all of a sudden comes jumping over on his metal horse over your red buff into your face. And you're like, oh no, I am instantly dead.
Actually, shout out to, since we're on this discussion, their game against Energy, where he hit the 5-man rel engage. Was so...
Oh, that was so crazy.
It was so dirty. Oh my God. It was just like the most textbook team wipe. And then another part of that too is when you watch that, I know a lot of people's reaction is just like, Energy is so bad. Like, how are you just grouping up for that? But at the same time, it's the small things that make a team like TL so good. The way that Impact played it, he is kind of the one who sold that play because, Energy had their group timer, right? Where that's something you'll do in League. Like, you give up your side lane farm, you group up, you clear vision, and then the other team has option, okay, do we want to fight them when they walk in our vision, or do we just give it up and get a farm lead? And so Impact backed up, let Energy think that, they weren't contesting this. Meanwhile, Core is chilling in the line brush, and then Energy, not expecting the engage, not positioned correctly for it, and just get completely destroyed. Like, that was so sick.
And APA was bot. So that was, I think, what made them even think more that they could move in and actually clear out this vision was because APA was bot showing on minions. They're like, okay, well, we have 5 here. We move in. It's a 5v4. Like, this is our power play, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, the way that they executed on that fight was so sick. Like, Core finds that snap engage, but also there was the 4-man Lily asleep immediately after with the bowling ball hitting everyone. There was the Ezreal ult over the top of everyone. Was it an Ornn game for Impact or something? It was like every ult imaginable hit everyone, and it was all instantaneous. And as Core is in the air, APA is TPing in as well. Like, everything was just like boom, 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 boom. And then they're all instantly dead, and you're just like, okay, I apologize. That turns out that was your position. Like, turns out that was your river. That was crazy. That was a really, really sick team fight. I wanted to ask you guys, so if you had to make an MVP argument or a candidate from C9 and FlyQuest, who would it be then? Or did you vote for anyone?
I put in one. I put in Blabber. I had Impact, Blabber, and Yon as my candidates. I really think that Blabber has done so much that doesn't really get highlighted as much as some of like, oh, it doesn't show up at like crazy laning stats for Thanatos, or some of JoJo's plays that I have been super impressed with in their recent matches where he's baiting people with his flash up and he's playing these AD carries kind of on the edge. It grabs a lot of eyeballs and it's very like spectacular stuff. But I always feel like Blabber does so much for this team, and with everyone focusing on how Cloud9, their best attribute was dominating the early game. I feel like it is incredibly, in large part, due to Blabber's efforts, and so I threw him in there. I did kind of had the thing too where I was thinking of so many TL members, and I also felt like I need to splash. I'm not doing 2 TL members right in a row. I'm not doing Impact.
Triple TL for MVP.
I'm not doing Impact, Yon, and Core JJ. And I have a legitimate argument for Blabber, so I have them in there. But I instantly submitted my first for Impact because I feel strongest about that one, and
Me
so
too, yeah.
that was kind of my list of my reasoning.
Do you think there's any argument for inspired or something then? Because it's interesting because it's like
Um,
I feel like some people make the argument for inspired in that like, oh, he's so good in team fights, like he gets so much done for the team in team fights, but it's also the style that he plays is kind of uniquely enabled by a team that has strong lanes because he really prioritizes his own farm. We showed these stats on jungle procs. He's like lowest or very close
was
to lowest, ninth out of 8
ninth,
junglers. Like
Yeah,
he's not really involved in his lanes. He power farms, he prioritizes objectives, and then he does do really well in team fights.
That was specifically for mid lane.
But even his other
And
lanes were very low.
Yeah, the other ones were very low also. His jungle procs in general was low because he does do the power farming.
Yeah.
But I specifically highlighted the mid lane because Blabber was number 1 in mid jungle proximity, spending so much time around JoJo. And so it's like a very stark difference between the
Yeah,
two,
the
just as far as mid
It-
lane. But I had actually been crafting for FlyQuest a quad reasoning because I feel like Quad has been their best
For
player
MVP?
he
wow.
I feel like he has been their best player in their recent games. Quad is doing so much work without a lot of extra resources and extra pressure. I've just been so impressed with
But can
how,
you be MVP if
how-
you're not best?
No, that's why I didn't vote for him.
Oh, okay.
I just have been so impressed with how much he has done. And I feel like that team has kind of transitioned from the Whippo inspired team into the Quad and Masu team.
Yeah, I think for me, FlyQuest is kind of still a step below Cloud9 or Liquid because one thing that I'm trying to do when I look at these is because we're doing best of threes and it's just single round robin. Like if you look at just match score, I think it doesn't paint the full picture. Whereas if you look at the actual games you've won and lost, like FlyQuest has a lot more losses than either C9 or TL does. And so also like when you look at what they've played, FlyQuest games just feel like the most formulaic, I guess, where Quad has been on 80 carry mid like actually every single game. He's overwhelmingly played Corki Tristana. He's played some Lucian, but like it hasn't gone very well. And so I don't know, like they seem like they're just kind of like following the rules of the meta right now. They're doing that, and I think Masu stands out to me as kind of like their overperforming player.
Mhm.
But the rest of them, it kind of just feels like they're doing their job, right? It's like to me that it doesn't really feel like MVP status from anyone on FlyQuest. They just kind of like play the meta. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But they definitely don't seem as good.
And to your point about record, TL 14-3 in games, Cloud9 13-3, and FlyQuest are 11-7. So it is a pretty stark difference as far as the overall record. We are going to take a quick break though, and then after the break, we are going to be previewing the 2 playoff matchups that are going to be coming this week. That is Dignitas versus 100 and FlyQuest versus Energy.
Hello?
Bro, what are you parking?
Seriously? What is that?
Remote smart parking assist. You can't park anywhere.
They could have parked there. They could have parked there. They could have parked there.
Welcome back to the dive driven by Kia. Let's talk Dignitas versus 100. This is going to be the round 1 first matchup coming this Saturday, and the winner of that would be playing TL.
I'm excited for this one because Sniper was on pros and he was very confident. It looked, you could, if you're watching his body language and his face, well, he's like smirking and like almost fidgeting while he's like, yeah, we match up really well versus Dignitas, and I match up really well versus Licorice. And it's like that, like, he is such a nice kid, and he is like being very kind about it. But like maybe after like the show match where his Riven versus Poppy stuff, 1v1 versus Licorice was pretty impressive, and you can tell that he is extremely confident. And that is the 100 Thieves that is most exciting for me to watch. So I am actually really looking forward to this one, even though Dignitas, it does feel like they have been kind of limping into playoffs. I'm actually now kind of rooting for them to have a comeback. I'm like, come on, old guys, you can do it.
Yeah, this
They're
is
the higher-
please do
They're
it.
the higher seed though, and they did 2-0 100 Thieves when they played them. But to be fair, it was week 2, and that was a long time ago. And I think like you were talking about Quad being really good. Quad was not so hot. I think in the first week or two. I think
Or
he
Quid,
excuse me. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, brain fart.
the classic.
Yeah. I think Quid, like the team has, I think, developed since then.
This was a hard one for me to predict because I don't know. I feel like it's just gonna be one of those series that's just like, does Dig get away with lane swapping? Because they're kind of like the team of veterans. Most of these players played when lane swapping was a thing a million years ago. Whereas 100 Thieves, they didn't. They're a lot more newer players. Yeah, exactly. So to me, it's going to be that kind of series. And I don't know. It's hard for me to really pick who I think will win or even who I want to win because both teams I feel like they're really easy to root for. 100 Thieves is like Sniper and River and whatnot. And they brought in Tomo, who's doing really well. I think if I had to predict, I would probably go with Dig just because I think that lane swapping is a thing, and I think 100 Thieves have struggled really hard with it. And
Man,
especially with jungle meta too. Like I think with Lilia being a premier pick, it's one of Spica's best champs. So I think I would vote for Dig if I was a betting man.
as soon as you said lane swaps, my stomach started hurting. I was just like, oh, he's right.
It's a tummy ache.
Oh man, I'm so excited for this match because I want to see, the Sniper versus Licorice. I want to see the confident 100 Thieves matching up against them.
With Tomo in and looking like
superstar Tomo came in and saved the team, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so excited. And then you're like, wow. You know what? Lane swaps actually are the perfect crutch.
What about the Vi buffs though? We could get that River Vi in there,
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if those are that big. It's like 5 to 10 damage.
Yeah, and it's not that big.
like I don't know.
But I've just
doesn't
been
make me wanna
wanting
play
them to
Vi.
play those champions regardless because I feel like they just looked so much better when they were playing those stuff.
Yeah.
But then if we look at how Dignitas won their most impressive games, the games that they won versus TL and Cloud9, it is with these like Ivern Braum scaling teamfight comps, and you're like, wow, if they're just going to play scaling stuff that's powerful later because they're confident that they are veterans that know how to play out mid and late game, then the best way to get to mid and late game and really good team fighting comps is for lane swapping early, and that just makes me kind of sad.
I feel like a win with that kind of team comp deserves an asterisk next to it because it's like you sold out if you're playing that, dude. It's kind of like what we were.
What happened to you?
No, this is like what we were saying about Liquid in spring, dude. It's like, yes, you won the game, but like, did you really like win the game? Like, were you actually playing the game? Like, you just picked all the point and click, stat check, ball comp stuff. Like, yeah, you won, good job, but like, let's see you play.
But are you proud of yourself?
You feel good about that one, man. You feel good playing Ivern.
It's interesting because the series it was a 2-0 for Dig, but this is also I was looking at the matchups as far as the champions and everything, and it reminded me this is the game, if you guys recall, where 100 Thieves, it was I think in the second game of the series where they're, or maybe it was even the first one, where Superhead and Sniper was really, really strong on Camille, and then he was trying to kill the inhibitor tower in the face of Licorice, who was playing Cassante, and Licorice killed him, then TP'd in, and they killed them all at Baron and took Baron. It was like a monster throw, everything kind of wheels fell off type of moment where 100 Thieves have been doing really, really well. They were playing, this Ione, Karthus, Camille side lane thing with Senasai on bot. And it was this cool draft that was working really well until it wasn't. And then it all just kind of fell apart in that one moment. But I mean, 100 Thieves has been looking, I think, definitely rejuvenated with Tomo. So I think there is that kind of level of excitement. And on the other side, I don't know what your guys' take is on this, but Sven tweeting out after their series loss this last weekend, he's like something along the lines of, that was pretty pathetic. No, shouldn't we just send FlyQuest TL and C9 to Worlds and cancel playoffs? And it's like, at a certain point, we talk a lot about, they're all veterans. They have so much experience with this. They're going to be able to handle it, no problem. But also, veterans have egos, right? Like, you have an ego associated with your accomplishments, and you perceive yourself as being a certain place in the league. And so there was a pros episode I did with Sven. This was quite a while ago now. I don't know, week 3 or something, I'm guesstimating. And they were kind of joking about it, and it was him and Huhi, and he was like, oh yeah, like a year ago we were in finals, and now we're in LCS lows, ha ha ha, right? And kind of joking about it and talking about, oh yeah, TL, well that's a scheduled loss, but we've got Immortals and Shopify, those are scheduled wins. Then they got 2-0'd by Shopify.
Oops.
They were losing to Immortals. Honestly, they should have lost to Immortals, if not for a monster throw where Tactical gets hooked, at the inhibitor tower with, if I recall, 2 inhibitors already down. Like, the game was basically...
Monster throw by Tactical? No.
The game was basically done.
Oh my God.
The comms were so brutal, too. The comms, where they showed the player comms, and Speakage just over and over is just like... And Tactical finds a way. And, like, it was just like, oh,
You know what the worst, painful part to me was that he was just walking by the minions. He didn't even auto the tower.
Yeah.
Usually you're like, oh, it's right when the AD carry goes to auto the tower that they're about to get the inhibitor tower down. He was just like strafing there, not quite
This keeps happening,
in
man.
range. And I saw the hook coming and I was like, no.
Yeah. It's sad. It's sad. But like, anyway, the point being, Dignitas have taken some lumps, and it's a pretty big hit, I think, to the ego at a certain point, where it's like, you have all these guys, like Spica was an MVP, Licorice was, was first team All-Pro last time he was in the league. Jensen has been like top All-Pro and won all these tournaments and gone to Worlds a million times and never missed playoffs. Sven, I think, was the first guy to win in EU and NA and has been at the top for so long, recently won, with Cloud9, and now they kind of suck. Like, they're just not that good, right? And so it's interesting because, at least from the outside, I wonder, at what point is it hard to kind of like laugh off the losses, and does it become a little bit tough to swallow, because it's like all these guys who I think really saw themselves as a team that was going to be a top team, and individuals who were going to be top players, it has not panned out, right? Like, this is the reality.
I know at what point it was hard is when they lost the scheduled win. That's when it gets hard. And now,
Clap by Shopify.
Now that they're in playoffs, they know that they don't have extra time to be able to scale and be able to get better. I would still say, hopefully they're able to have some sort of drive and belief. Like, if we look back at spring Team Liquid, like, their real big ascent into becoming this god team was in playoffs. Or back to last year summer, Energy, they were not good in the regular season then either. And then in playoffs, they had this huge surge and their peak performance of all time, and then going to Worlds and beating G2. So we have very recent examples of teams in this time frame in playoffs having big surges and hitting those peaks anew. But to me, the reason why it's really worrisome for Dignitas is because it is also them just constantly getting beat down in scrims. Literally every player that we have on the show ever who comes in is always laughing about, oh yeah, we just came off a hard night of 6-0 Dignitas scrims. I didn't get much sleep, or like, everyone's memeing on it, including them. And so if you are constantly losing scrims in addition to stage games, then oh man, it is really hard to build that momentum that you need. So I think it has to occur in this exact series.
Yeah.
If they don't have a big series here versus 100 Thieves, and I'm going to predict 100 Thieves in this one. We'll see about. I mean, we can do our whole playoff brackets actually, maybe. But if Dignitas don't have a big series versus 100 Thieves, I just think it's going to be so hard to build the momentum to have that big surge and hit a new peak.
Yeah, I mean, 100 Thieves also had a kind of, I think, a much better end to the split, right? They were able to beat Immortals, then they beat Shopify. The series before that, they went 1-2 against FlyQuest. So it's like, I feel like they're coming in probably a little bit more momentum, so to speak.
And Tomo's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy. They're having good times.
They have the honeymoon with the new swap and everything. So I feel like vibes are kind of at a good point right now for 100 Thieves, especially like you said, Sniper was feeling really confident on pros. And I felt like when he was on with me, he was feeling like he was doubting himself and he was feeling a lot more negative. And I think, it was like, oh, things were just kind of working in spring, but they're not now. Like, what's wrong? And so it feels like 100 Thieves are kind of having those good vibes right now. And I'm just a River fanboy. I just really think River is so good. And I want to be able to see him succeed. So I think, that's maybe part of it too. I'm maybe a little bit biased towards River because he's such an exciting player, I think. And I'm still just kind of hoping, and it's probably completely unrealistic, but I'm still hoping that we are going to get more of that playmaking jungle mid back that we saw from 100 Thieves in spring that I think made them so incredibly exciting to watch.
So this is a fun discussion because with our new playoff patch having pretty big implications for meta changes with AP mid laners getting buffs, which teams, we should label each team, is this a playoff buff for the patch for them or nerf? Because for sure, this is a Jensen buff, right? Jensen 80 carries have been pretty bad. I was gonna say something meaner, but I won't.
That was pretty mean.
But his Orianna and Syndra, his Orianna is getting a buff. There was a Reddit post. Orianna her command attack hadn't been buffed in 12 years.
That's crazy.
That is a crazy.
It literally hasn't been even.
Sniper wasn't even born.
It hasn't been adjusted in 12 years, and it's getting a buff now. That's got if that isn't the most Jensen buff of all time, then I don't know what is.
I think I don't know. I could be wrong, but I feel like sleeping on Dig in playoffs would just not be a good call for anyone, especially people playing against them, just because you kind of reminded me when you were talking about all these players and I was going through looking at their stats. It's like these are some really good players, and I think they're the kind of players who are going to clutch up.
But
right?
why have they not done it yet? That's what
because it doesn't matter. It's the regular season. They're in playoffs. It's fine. Who cares?
Isn't it just like the C9 thing from spring where look, this roster is so good. Surely this is the week, and then the next week this is the week for sure. And then the week after that, dude, this week is looking really good.
These are like the old. I don't know. Isn't this kind of what Perks did? And I feel like this was an EU thing where you would just kind of chill the entire season. I mean, this is Jensen and Sven, right? They got that EU mentality. They're just I don't care, dude. As long as I make playoffs, it's all good.
Where's Perks
and then they're
now?
going to power up. They're going to power up.
Where's Perks now? That worked until it
I don't know. But it did work. I don't know. I think Dig will pull it together. I feel like they got good players, and I think the changes do probably benefit them.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think to me, the first things that I thought of were Jensen and Palafox when I saw the mid lane buffs to these mages. So I feel like those are the two that were so good on the mages and have not been good with the adjustments. But that's just mid lane, to the point about River. And I think he is for sure a Vi player. I'm not sure if anyone in this series would actually play the Skarner, but the Skarner is...
Licorice already played it.
Well, I think top lane Skarner is worse, but you're right. Licorice
already played it.
He's on that train, and it's getting better. So if he already
he already played it, Kobe. If you didn't know,
I know he already played it.
Just letting you know, played it.
I think he's the only top laner that will play it. I think most of them will be jungle, but honestly, I still think it's advantage for patch to Dignitas off of these
though
changes.
Quid won MVP when it was not 80 carries.
Yeah,
he was the MVP. He was playing.
Yeah,
he was
but
playing
it
all kinds
wasn't
of mages.
because of Oriana
No, it wasn't. But his way,
or Syndra.
his way was pretty good.
It was
and
like
stuff. It was.
it was like
and
Yone.
It was Veigar, Ari, Talia.
He's Ari.
Yone.
Yeah, throwing the Veigar game in there.
Veigar has as many games as Yone.
Yeah, fair enough. But Veigar's not getting any buffs.
I know, but I'm just saying, if the AD carries mid get nerfed, everything in relation to it is getting buffed, right? Like you are getting closer to being able to be like, oh, if I actually prefer X playstyle and the OPs get nerfed, well, now I'm closer to the top on my Ari or my Talia or my whatever.
Do you think this patch is better for 100 Thieves?
I don't know if it's better comparatively, but I think it's better than the AD patch was for sure. I felt like 100 Thieves was one of the biggest losers as far as the shift in meta to AP farming junglers and stuff. Because again, not because River's bad at it, he's good. If you put him on Cloud9 or Fly or whatever, I think he would do well. But on a team that has weaker laners, which 100 Thieves just does, you want your jungler being proactive and making crazy stuff happen, right? You want them making plays. That's the kind of style that he has to play, and that's the style that he's so good at. But when he's on Brand or Lilia and you're just farming, and then by the time you finish your first full clear, your lanes are dead or behind or whatever, it's like, okay, well, what do I do now?
But Brandon Lily are untouched, so
Yeah.
he might still be.
I'm just hoping that. Well, this is why I was saying even during the regular season, even before any changes, I'm like, this team is just losing playing this style. I just wanted them to go back to just play the champions you played in spring and show me something different, right? Like if this isn't working, I'd rather see you revert to comfort and play something that's not meta but suits you.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's actually going to be a different meta because we're talking about all this like not 80 carry mid meta, and like I feel like there's still a good
Might
chance
just be the same,
it's
yeah.
the exact same stuff, just like Corki, Lucian, and what.
Well, we're not gonna get Katarina with the Katarina buffs coming in. No. Yeah.
I can't think of a less likely to show up in pro champ than Katarina.
I saw those changes and I was
What about
like,
Kiana? Let's get
what
some
the-
Kiana Rumble, the throwback.
Dude, that's way more like when was the last time Katarina was played in a pro game? Like I can't even remember.
yeah, not happening.
Let's see.
This matchup is super interesting to me if there are not lane swaps every game. But as that was your first point, and I still am thinking back to that, I'm just like, man, it's like a similar argument for TL doing lane swaps. You know, it's like it just seems like Dignitas should do them because even 100 Thieves themselves have been outspoken, and Sniper's like, I don't like doing lane swaps. I mean, I don't. He's also not that great at doing them. So it definitely seems like it should be a very good strategy, especially if you're looking at like Licorice style champions where his favorite champion is Poppy. Like not very many top laners' favorite champions are tanks. He really likes playing tanks, is good at tanks.
Yeah.
So it does seem like he'll be better on low econ lane swap stuff. And I just hope that that's not what this series comes down to.
Yeah, no, it is hard to argue against the lane swap. If it's lane swaps in every game, I think Dig's probably going to win. If it's not, I feel like 100 Thieves are looking better right now. And, you know, if we're thinking that, if you're thinking that, you would hope that 100 Thieves are thinking that and trying to prepare to try to figure out how they can do it. But lane swaps are complicated and are very difficult to play out, you know, from the player point of view. So it's not necessarily something that you can just like polish that up real quick. It's pretty tough.
All right. The next matchup that we have on our table here, FlyQuest versus Energy. FlyQuest players seemed extremely confident. Like if we're judging like Sniper's confidence as versus Dig as like pretty high, then I think FlyQuest confidence versus Energy is like breaking the meter almost. Does that trigger finally the Energy blue shell bring down overconfident gods hidden passive? It doesn't.
Nah,
they don't have that passive anymore.
No, it's gone, man. It's dead.
I think they had their spoiler.
Okay, how about this then? All right, I'm not even gonna play around with that narrative then. I've got another backup one right here.
Backup narrative.
And this is actually Energy patch more so than any other team because they were so bad at the previous ones. And as much as I was like, oh yeah, Jensen wasn't very good on the ADs, I think Palafox's drop off was probably the biggest.
The 20% Tristana win rate, the 0% Lucian win rate.
Yeah, his drop off was probably the biggest of any player with the meta shift. So energy patch coming in might be the biggest rise for any player, directly buffing his Syndra. He loves Syndra and Orianna and Azir all getting buffs.
Here's my problem with energy is they just never look like they're on the same page. This team from early on in the split has looked like they're completely mental boom. I feel like it is internal issues 100%. I feel like these players just either whether or not it's like a get along thing, they clearly don't see the game the same way and have not been able to reconcile that throughout the entire split. And I just can't see that being fixed by a patch, because that more than anything has been what has been so stark when I'm watching energy is, you know, two players are flashing forward to hard engage and someone else is recalling, you know, and it's like, it's always seems so stark that it's so obvious they are not on the same page, and they almost never feel like they're on the same page this split, which is what just kills me.
And the two players flashing forward to engage are engaging on different people.
Yeah.
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 It's like, oh man.
Like the Yone game, I think it was this last week, absolutely was killing me. And it was just like, there were like contracts would like Tokyo drift and get the Sejuani all on the 80 carry, and then Palafox would like be ulting that way. Doku would be basing, you know, FBI would be like killing Raptor, you know, it's just like, and they were playing this comp where it was like, I think it was that one comp where they had Yone, I want to say Yone Rumble Sejuani, and they had all these dive tools, and not once in the entire game did they use all of their dive tools on the same person. And every single time it would be like Sejuani plus Rumble go on this guy. Yone goes on that guy. Okay. Yone plus Sejuani go on this guy. Okay. Rumble goes on that guy. Not once. It was just, that one was hard to watch for me, because it was just like, you drafted a comp specifically that is supposed to have all these tools to work together. Sejuani plus double melee solo lanes, all these dive buddies. You know, you hit the perfect Sejuani ult, and still we're missing every Yone ult. We're not going on the same people. This team just looks so disjointed that I can't imagine that they could have, like, I wouldn't bet on them to beat anybody in playoffs. I'm definitely not betting on them to beat FlyQuest.
Yeah, I think FlyQuest are so heavily favored in this one across the board. It's, even though at the beginning of the episode I'm like, you know, critiquing FlyQuest through the lens of being one of our top 3 teams in the
as
top,
a championship
exactly in the top tier, but versus energy, it just feels so overwhelming, honestly. Especially, I feel like I've been on this like quad hype train, because even in their games versus Cloud9, like his Lucian, I felt like was such a point of priority, and he was doing so well. Even not to mention the solo kill onto JoJo. I feel like with what we have seen recently, it should be really big mid lane priority for FlyQuest. And unless contracts, ganks, and kills quad, which I think should be the game plan for energy. I think they should like full send, level 2 gank, level 3 gank, and like get Palafox an early kill and get that mid matchup flipped. Especially if they think that the trend is going to continue where inspired jungle proximity around mid stays pretty low. I think that it should be a very good opening for energy, or at least they should try that. But it doesn't, with what we've seen, it doesn't seem like that is going to be the case. And then you're looking at the bottom lane, you're like, wow, Masu has been amazing, and Masu Busio combo is also going to have priority. And then you're looking at top lane, and you're like, well, Bwipo also probably going to have priority, or he's going to be playing one of his tanks, where he was, even the Nautilus game where everyone is like making fun of him for dying, myself included, for dying in the Ornn, versus the Ornn play there and messing up Inspired's jungle.
That was me. I was able.
Yeah, I was.
At least I was.
Because he messed up the junglers, game plan. I really felt for Inspired. Yeah. But even in that game, prior to that, like he had earned 3 turret plates by himself in the Nautilus, Ornn matchup, tank pressure. And so you're just like, oh man, across the board, then we're theoretically getting ourselves into a game where FlyQuest are playing with 2 or 3 winning pushing lanes for Inspired. And you're just like, wow, that seems very hard for energy to win. And so I'm hoping that energy do find their like old CLG passive and just go ballistic on them. Contracts turbo ganking early to try and upset FlyQuest game plan, and don't let them have all 3 winning lanes with turbo farming jungler and picking up all the objectives. I think they have to like create action in order to create a win in this series.
I mean, it's hard to do that though nowadays because I mean,
Yeah.
Energy was a team that benefited a lot from early ganks and whatnot. The contracts, that is one of his fortes as a player. But it's just a lot harder to do nowadays. I mean, coming into this season, there was the terrain changes. Top lane is a
Experience
lot hard.
buffs for jungle camps.
Yeah, I mean, top lane is a lot hard to gank. Like even mid, the bushes.
Side lane brush on mid, it made it so
Yeah,
harder.
I mean, even if you want to play to gank heavily, like it's just not necessarily even an option, especially with super safe champions being played, like we touched on earlier. So it's just hard. The reality is, if your laners are just worse, like I don't know how you win. I really don't. You gotta like just play some crazy strong champion and just pop off like some brand type stuff like we've seen Boogie do. I feel like that's like one of your best options. I don't know. Like energy just looks so dead in the water. Like I don't know.
It's tough, right? But you can see the ways in which they would do it is the ways in which we've had them have success before. And it's kind of like when you're talking about a dig, right? You're like, okay, I know these players can hit a certain level. Can they do it now? But then when you're looking at like it's my doubts for dig were the same as my doubts for energy, but energy just has a much harder matchup where it's just like you have to get back to this level that you have shown us that you can't get to all split, right? So they have to kind of be able to show us something that they haven't shown us in quite a long time.
Yeah, I think energy. I don't know. Watching energy games is just.
I think it's a 3-0 for FlyQuest.
It is so non-confident inspiring watching energy play. I don't know what's going on there. I think
it would have to be contrary to logic for them to win this series.
I mean, that is literally the one hopium you have is energy.
Blue shell.
It's that, yeah, it's the blue shell thing. It's that they're best when everyone thinks they suck, and they've been setting that one up real well all split. But I don't know, dude. I think the fact that they didn't spoil TL series and they just got rolled even when they had their protagonist buff going on is just like like they've actually lost their plot armor. Well, I mean, we'll see. Maybe it comes back, but I don't think so.
Yeah. Our argument is, what if they weren't bad?
Then we could have a really good series on our hands here.
There we go.
It's gonna be, I think, a fun first week of playoffs. I think the first match is actually gonna be really, really competitive. And assuming FlyQuest wins, they would then be going on to have a best of 5 against C9, which would be really, really hype. I know a lot of people have been talking about, the top 3 versus the bottom 3 is so one-sided. But I'm looking at the bracket, and I think when I did a quick once over, it's like if favorites all win, we're gonna basically get, I think, 4 best ofs between some combination of TL, C9, and FlyQuest, and all those should be really, really exciting.
That's
so
cool.
even if there's not any big upsets in round 2 upper bracket, we'd get C9 Fly, then in we'd get one in like lower bracket, we'd get one in grand finals, and so on and so forth. So at the very least, we'd get like 3 or 4 series between those teams, I think, which should be all really, really exciting, even if they end up beating up on the other teams. And hopefully we'll get some upsets. Hopefully we'll get some kind of surprise series. I feel like you always do in playoffs. Like things don't always just go everything to shock. So I'm pretty excited for the playoffs.
So energy, huh?
Could be energy. Could be dig season after all. Maybe it's dig season and TL's in the lower bracket.
Could
Who
be.
knows?
Could be. Definitely will be exciting. I have been a super big fan just of that change to our playoffs bracket where it rewards the good teams by giving them upper bracket lives as well as possibilities of going to lower bracket. But then, like you're saying, we also just get to watch them play more.
Yep.
So it's a win-win.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll get a lot of matches. Yeah, we get the upper bracket one. We get another upper bracket one right after that between 2 winners. We'd get a loser bracket one then on the Saturday match, and then we get the grand finals one on the Sunday finals match. So yeah, we should get 4 series between those teams. Or upsets, and who knows. So either way, playoffs is going to be really, really exciting. I'm looking forward to it, and that is going to wrap it up for us here on The Dive, driven by Kia. Remember, if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode of The Dive. You can also check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the other podcast platforms, and make sure you send us your questions on Twitter with the hashtag TheDiveLOL. If you have any playoff takes or anything you'd want us to answer going into next week, hit us up with those then. Round 1 of playoffs starts this Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific. Dig takes on 100. Make sure to tune in. Thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all soon.
Welcome to the LCS waiting room. It is time for the playoffs,
If you want to.
and Raz would like to discuss ballots.
No, I mean, that's
Yeah.
you. If you want to discuss
Yeah.
it, that's completely fine.
I'm
In
just
case
saying,
you missed it,
when I was a media member, I tried my best. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying,
I try my best now too, but
regular season ballots have been cast. We already know the coaching staff was split. That's Team Liquid.
True.
Yep.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Next week
guys.
we're going to go no All-Pro.
Yep.
There's also going to be a Most Improved, a Rookie of the Year, and an MVP. They're going to be released sequentially.
I'm more interested. We're not going to talk about it now, but I'm just
Yeah.
going to throw this into the ether. I'm really interested in Most Improved. In Most Improved. Does Quid make the vote?
Yeah, that was a weird one. That's going to be the most.
yeah.
I'm interested.
This is
I'm
what
in-
we were talking about. It was actually nothing controversial. Anyway,
Yeah.
here's the playoffs bracket. It is a new and I would say improved bracket.
Very new and improved.
Personally, 16 playoffs for me, better than 18 playoffs.
I like that exactly. I
Also,
agree.
merging a double elimination format with a lower gauntlet to get that last world spot, nice touch.
It's exciting.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
I like it.
Let's go.
Also,
big fan.
your standings matter immensely with the seedings that go
To
into the
see how you
bracket.
drop down.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Before we get into the rest of the waiting room, congratulations to all of you at home who topped your league in Fantasy LCS on Sleeper, and a big thank you for playing along throughout the split. Speaking of brackets, we're going to have some pre-playoff predictions.
Okay.
I think every time we've done this, our
It's been
perfect predictions are 0%.
Speak
Yes.
for yourself.
Okay, so we got them all up on the board. Emily can draw on these.
Okay.
I can.
But what do we see? I see a bunch of safe bets saying
All right,
the
I'm
Team
joining
Liquid
you.
is going
I
to
don't
win.
want you being alone up there.
You know what I see is someone didn't predict game scores.
Oh!
Yeah, less chance of being.
What's that about, Jet?
That's less chance of being wrong.
Yeah, you're
So-
a coward.
So how are we going to gauge like our predictions and who wins?
Well, clearly they're close because I have Dig beating 100 and then 100 beating Dig in the lower bracket. I also have C9 beating TL and then TL getting that
Getting the revenge.
smack to get him back in the game and actually win the split.
So I noticed a theme here.
Okay.
A producer didn't put me
Is
on
it the
this at
Team
all.
Liquid win?
That's one theme, that's true.
Okay.
But also, so I'm just gonna be in the way. I'm apologizing.
Yeah, you're
in
allowed.
advance. So you've decided that Dignitas wins, and then 100 Thieves gets to get back.
Correct.
And then we've decided the opposite
Yeah.
is going to happen.
That's
for us.
true.
Yeah.
So do you actually think Dignitas is the better team?
I think in the long run, I think they're the better team.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I think the meta favors them a little bit more. Remember, it's on the new patch, the Mage Pack. We'll talk about that a little bit more heavily
Yeah.
later on. Favors Jensen. I think in the first series, it's going to be harder for them. It's, you know, it just happened now. They had limited time to practice. And then as we go on, we'll see the comfort zone come through.
That was also my reasoning for both of my flips in terms of a team losing first and then coming back to win the rematch.
Yeah.
I didn't actually look this up for data. I really should have. But in my mind,
Your
It
gut.
happens.
it feels like it happened.
Yeah.
In your gut.
Emily, you
In my
have
gut.
FlyQuest actually
Yes.
making it to the finals.
Yeah, which I think is kind of a little bit of a outlier. I feel like people think that FlyQuest are. Here, I'll circle it because my finals are different than both of yours.
What do you think about FlyQuest that you enjoy more, that you feel like will take C9 out?
I know people are really, really hypercritical of them, but I actually do like their macro game. I think if we continue to see more lane swaps, their evolution of the lane swap is really, really strong.
Okay.
And additionally, I feel like in their last series against C9, they did try out a very risky composition that I'm sure we'll talk more about tomorrow when they play.
Yeah.
But once, and they were executing it, and then they made some mistakes, and then it didn't win.
Yeah. I have a final question for us and then also the chat.
Yeah.
We all put Team Liquid here, which seems very boring, but we're just trying to pick whatever the most likely thing to happen is, I guess. But if I would say Team Liquid or the field,
Oh, God.
what do you pick?
I'm picking Team Liquid.
I'm picking the field.
Okay, buddy, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
Yeah.
buddy, because I have them already losing a series up
C9.
here.
That's true.
Yeah.
Emily has them dropping a couple games.
Yeah. Two
And you
games, by
have
the
a
way.
3-2,
Yeah.
Raz.
Because it's close.
Well, yeah, and that's just, if anything along the path goes wrong,
Yeah.
they're out. And I think that's a greater than 50% likelihood.
That's on you guys. Are you guys
Yeah.
calling him an idiot? Or are
GL
you
or
also-
the field?
I feel like
The field?
they're an undefeated team during the regular season, man.
With 3 game losses.
And they were still pretty messy, that is to be fair. And I think that favors them because when it matters most during the playoff time, I think they clutch up.
Okay.
All right.
Do you
But I'm
take the
interested-
field? Do you take the field, Emily?
I have my
I take
phone.
Teal.
I'm going to be reading what you guys are saying.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is one of the, I feel like one of the first times I've not taken the field, actually. Because
Huh.
statistically, the field is almost always better to take.
Yeah, because last split, it would have been like FlyQuest or the field, or pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they lost. And the split before that, it would have been C9 or the field, and they lost. And the split before that.
The beauty about all of this,
The field wins
Here's
most
the-
of the
wins.
time.
here's the beauty of all of this. I can say the point that you made was idiotic. And then when I'm for sure going to be wrong, we never come back to it.
True.
I'm scot-free.
You don't have to
Yeah.
back up
Take
your words.
the popular opinion.
Yes.
Say everything else is really stupid.
Yes.
And then after you're proven wrong, people have forgotten about it.
Exactly.
This is how Raz operates.
Amazing.
Playoffs are going to be on patch 14-16. So we're on a new patch for the playoffs here. So here's some of the notes. Doran's Blade, Corki, Lucian, nerfed.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot here. Okay. So it's funny because it's a part of like a overall systemic change. So
Yep.
we're just focusing on these specific patch notes that are specific, of course, 14-16 to these playoffs. And so the Corki nerfs were pretty heavy, I felt like, just based off Phosphorus Bomb mana cost and cooldown. But then, of course, Doran's Blade is the biggest one. 20 HP taken away and 0.5 lifesteal. Along with the lifesteal that they already took out of the runes for AD mids, they have been chipping at it relentlessly.
Yeah.
Blade of the Rune King was also something that got touched, which was one of the core items that was picked up, A, by Lucian and by AD carries that were, saying, you know what, you nerfed Kraken Slayer, we're gonna
Yep.
go to Blade of the Rune King. No place is safe for solo lane AD carries.
I still think we'll see. I think it's going to be a gradual shift,
Right.
Because again, they've brought out successive things to champions and to itemization as we see kind of the nerf timeline of both champions and then the big one where we talked about a lot of items going through nerfs. I think the biggest thing is in tandem with mage buffs, how is drafting going to shift? Because right now we're still seeing like 2 to 3 AD carries per game across sometimes all 3 lanes. But on this patch, we do have adjustments for Azir, Orianna, and Syndra, which are kind of primetime favorites for a lot of our more experienced mid laners, let's just say.
I agree. I think especially the target of these buffs are to be better against AD carries in the mid lane, with Azir specifically getting armor with Orianna getting one of the first command attack buffs in the history of League of Legends. I don't think you could take the first day of LCS to now.
Yeah.
This is the first time the damage and AP ratio on command attack has been buffed. And then Syndra looks bigger than it reads, just because it's per orb, and you can have 5 to 8 orbs depending on how much ability haste you have.
The scariest one of all of these to me is the Azir changes, simply because, so he gets armor changes while all the AD carries are getting heavily nerfed. Azir was already kind of sort of in the meta as is, like if a player wanted to play him, they could. And you could already, if you're in a heavily, let's say you're going up against a dive comp, you're like, all right, I'm gonna go grasp, I'm gonna play a little tank here.
Yeah.
Leandri's is still a build. We're probably gonna see a lot of Azir Corki metas here.
Yeah, death timers have also been changed.
True.
So it's a lot of numbers in there, but 4 seconds early game, more dead. So solo kills should be 4 seconds better. There's more stuff in there, but honestly, the patch has become such a complicated thing.
Where are you going?
I wanted to simplify what we're gonna see this week.
Simple.
It is actually quite simple. So I'm a fan of analogies because I don't think people read patch notes.
I feel like that's been bad.
And we even just talked about a bunch of numbers. But like, listen, let's pretend that these cups are holding in the power of mages.
Okay.
So these cups is the power level of 80 carries. This blue liquid is mage power.
Okay.
So this cup is going to be previous patches. Let's see. The mages try to go to mid lane, but you know what? The 80 carry wall is too high.
Okay.
So what did we do? Let's nerf the 80 carries.
So this is going
Let's
to be.
just make the cup a little bit smaller.
You're making this simpler, correct?
This is simpler.
Okay.
Is it?
So now, if we took the same, this is why I think they did both. Because now, if they just nerf the 80 carries, and we dump the mage power in, what happens? You know what? We're still not seeing mages.
Yeah.
That's too bad. So, we're gonna actually just take a little bit extra, all right?
That's not a little bit, buddy.
We're gonna take a little bit more power.
Large pipette. You
So
have
this is the Azir buff.
Okay.
Do we see mages?
there. We're gonna see Azir.
Not yet, because you could just ban Azir. So, let's buff a little bit more. Let's change Orianna.
Okay.
What happens?
You're gonna
Not
make a
quite
mess.
enough. So I think actually we need to also buff Syndra, and then some mages will break out of the meta. Does that make sense?
I'm not gonna lie, you lost me 30 seconds ago.
How is this complicated?
I have no idea what the cups
The
even
80
are.
carries are the
my
cups, the mages are the liquid, and we're gonna see some of them escape to the meta.
All right. I feel like we're already seeing Azir, even with AP jungles. So we're gonna see more Azir.
You weren't
Yeah.
even wearing it properly, I gotta tell you.
Yeah,
Well,
it looked like
listen.
you had a green cape, honestly, underneath. It was very
Science
bizarre.
is complicated, but simpler than the patch notes. So.
I'm gonna check on you guys to see if that actually made it easier, because it did not for me at all. It
my
actually was the most
God.
disgusting thing.
So playoffs, 100 Thieves versus Dignitas. Let's take a look at the level of experience between these two teams in terms of raw number of playoff games played.
The greatest segue maybe ever.
Yeah.
Playoffs.
Playoffs. So yes, playoff experience definitely in the boat of Dignitas. And when you started the split, this is why you ended up supporting Dignitas. When I felt like Dignitas was going to be a contender, it was because of the experience of the players as a whole, the amount of championships they've won overall, except for Isles, the amount of like all pros and all these things, and also when the pressure mounted, the experience mattered.
Yeah, Dignitas retweeted this as well, saying that Licorice is a lot more experienced than Sniper. Sniper tweeted back, you can check it for yourself, he didn't care. Yeah, he didn't
Yeah.
care one
Yeah, no.
bit. He
Exactly.
actually, I think he called Dignitas a little insecure. In that tweet.
Check the tweet,
Yeah, I'm
can
not
confirm.
Yeah.
Just a little insecure.
But either way, patch changes being all well and good. We do need to talk about the series as a whole.
Okay.
Dignitas versus 100 Thieves. Emily, what are some of your thoughts on this series?
I'm looking at Jensen. And I'm looking at whether these mages are going to be helpful for him, because here's a look at his career champs in LCS only, so this does not include international competitions, but it's still pretty much what you'd expect. Orianna, Azir, Syndra. You know what got buffed on this patch?
What got buffed?
Orianna, Azir, Syndra.
We just talked about that.
Damn, look,
Yeah.
I'm trying
And
to
the
catch
80
up.
carries got nerfed. So you see these mage buffs? Let's fix this graphic, actually. Let's tweak this a little bit. These are, in fact, mage buffs, but they're also Jensen buffs?
Okay, you know what?
Beautiful.
Who made this graphic? What's funny is I said after the meeting in this morning that I would look at the graphics. I still didn't look at the graphics. And now I'm looking at the graphic and I don't approve.
What
I
don't you
love these
approve? What
graphics.
don't
They're
you approve?
fun. What?
Just
That
the-
looks
the
exactly
pho-
like Azir.
the photoshopping skills.
So interestingly enough, Jensen did get a little bit better at Zeri towards the end of the split, and they started winning some series with it.
Yeah.
But I'd also say, like, both Dignitas and 100 Thieves with the mid lane meta haven't benefited from what's happened so far
No.
in Summer Split. So we've talked about this before, but let's pull it up again. It's Quid's spring champion pool compared to a summer champion pool, and which champions are shared in between.
Yeah, and in their first series, it did look like, oh man, Quid's popping off on the Ezreal. They have a lot of answers. He's an incredibly flexible player. But the same flexibility that he had in spring was definitely not seen in this summer because of how oppressive 80 carries were in the mid lane. And we've talked a lot about this as 100 Thieves not being as comfortable with the meta, especially their mid jungle. I think for as much as this helps Jensen, it also really helps Quid. Like, if you remember when he first came to the league, Azir was his champ. It was actually the only champ where he looked really comfortable on, and then it was this past spring where he really started diversifying and showcasing just how many things he could play.
Yeah, and it really helped not just him, but the team as a whole, because when you looked at 100 Thieves games, especially in the playoffs, when they were successful, and of course in the regular season, like in Spring Split, when they were successful, yes, they were in a deficit in the early games, but a lot of the times it was off of Quid's playmaking on his Akali, his Aatrox at time, his Ahri, his Talia.
Vitalia was
Exactly.
huge for them, yeah.
That would find angles to get back into the games. Now when you're just playing Lucian, Zeri, Corki, that's not happening anymore.
Right.
And I feel like that's hurt them and really amplified so their early game problems, but then not being able to find those team fights like they used to.
Yeah, I'd agree. They did have that improvement towards the end of the split, but we're going to look at the featured matchup here between the two mid laners and look at some of their season-long stats. You can really see, even when Quid is on those hyperscalers, he's not getting the same types of early leads that he got in the spring split.
Yeah.
Averaging negative 395 gold difference at 14, which is 8th in the league amongst mid laners. I'd say part of this is also River champion pool changing to be more power farm oriented, which goes away from his strengths of being a hard ganker. So it's going to be a question of whether or not they can actually pivot back to some of the things that were winning them games in the spring. But another big storyline here is Tomo was on Dignitas in the spring split. So he's got extra stakes in this match after getting replaced by Sven going into summer.
Definitely have a bit of grudge against them. Obviously, I was replaced after spring, and I felt like I did decently well with Els. So I think it'll be a fun match for sure. I'm definitely really excited to play against them, and hopefully we come out on top.
I don't want to make it clear when he was looking to the side, he was looking to me. I was not behind the camera, so he was like, who do I look at? But still, to the main point that he was saying, it is such a powerful motivational tool to be like, they didn't think I was good enough last split. I'm going to prove them wrong. And he's already doing that based off just winning the player of the week alone last week.
Yeah. Isle's response is have mercy. That's hilarious. I think the big thing for me also is that it's not just that this is his old team, but when Dig looked good last split, it was through playing around Tomo, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was through XU pathing down bot side, really, really making the most of Tomo and Isle's laning prowess. Other teams were identifying them as like a scarily good bot lane coming out when they were comparing them to other bot lanes in the LCS. And so now former laning partners going up against each other, but also Tomo has been such a massive benefit for 100 Thieves since coming onto the team as well. And he has a chance to get revenge against Dig and Sven.
Yeah, because just exemplified with some of the things that he's been saying, like, it's that one big what if from Tomo of like, what if they kept that Dignitas from spring to summer, because they were already finding that growth. They were already performing pretty well from the team that they were with him, Isles, Exu, all these things. They pulled the plug. He wants to prove them wrong.
With that being said, just looking at this, Sven, by the numbers, had a pretty successful split when you consider Dignitas is going into playoffs at 3 and 4, and he's top 3 in every single one of those statistical categories. But with that being said, adding Tomo to 100 Thieves gave them a bit of a complete transformation going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for me when he first came on, I was like, okay, are they going to, again, is River going to path down like XU did? Are they going to really focus on having a super pushing bot lane like Dig of Spring? But that isn't what's happened. Tomo has been a massive benefit for them in their team fighting. He's been stable in lane, and then additionally, it's allowed 100 Thieves solo laners to get more attention.
Completely agree. I do think there is an aspect that feels a little bad, whereas like before Tomo, top lane was also performing pretty poorly on its own. So it's like things were happening that was outside of the bot lane's really like point of view. But then you are right. What did happen is the stabilizing aspect of bot lane. They're actually performing really well in lane. The team fighting is great. If you ask any of the players in any of their interviews and the coaching staff, they always talk about how vocal he is in those fights. So it does feel like the team is flowing quite well. Is it just a honeymoon period? That's kind of like a question that we need an answer to.
We do know the vibes are way better.
Yes.
Because they went from being 1 and 4 to 3 and 4. So they're on a 2-match winning streak going into this. And as we get close to Champ Select in game 1, in case you missed it, you can subscribe to the LCS Twitch channel.
Oh!
At long last!
We are seeing people just deciding to like go for 5 subs and all. It's happening
Either way,
as we speak.
subs get access to a Discord to vote for an exclusive ProView VOD. So
Ooh, I
that
wonder
seems
who they
cool.
choose.
I already recorded something that's going to be on that sub-specific.
You'll also get that thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is there,
you don't
is there
want to
any
see that.
player you guys want to put forward that you really want to see a pro view of?
Well, I'm not
for us?
subscribed, so I can't vote.
Wow!
Yeah, I'm just,
Little
they didn't give me the free
disgusting, guys.
subscription yet.
Well, maybe
I'm
you
waiting.
should use a bit of that
I'm
paycheck
waiting.
back into the company.
Maybe
buddy.
during the game. During the games. On the,
My answer would probably be like Speaker or Sven or River. I want to see River's mentality going into the new patch and where he's pathing.
Yeah.
River Pro View.
I would pick junglers.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not a surprise to anyone.
Jungle pathing. nerd.
Yeah.
Back to 100 Thieves, we did find an interesting stat about how bloody their games actually are. So this is the combined kills per minute leaderboard if you include a lot of regions.
Yes.
So they're actually way up there. And Raz, you like this.
I love it. As you can see, I'm shocked. So shocked, I grew a beard. So, like, combined kills per minute, like, regional ones, the fact that G2, FPX are higher and 100 Thieves has still kept that identity. Last split, they were the most bloody team in the world. The fact that they're able to keep this in a lane swap meta is pretty impressive.
Oh, okay, in a lane swap meta. I was going to be like, Raz.
Just throwing it out there. Any chance I can get.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's hilarious that 3 of the 5 teams are just from LPL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not surprising. But that is something that we've kind of talked about being a part of 100 Thieves' identity when they were doing so well in spring, like you said, Raz. And I think that is something that I know Golden Glue has tried to continue with them. And when they were really, really struggling mid-split, it was one of the things he identified as like, we want to play our game. And part of playing our game is being super, super aggressive early.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also a pretty cool milestone that probably should happen during this series. And it's Jensen. He's 8 kills from passing Bjergsen for second most kills all time in the LCS, which I think is a really cool accomplishment. And he's shockingly close to it. So we talked a lot about the mid lane meta. And Jensen is a player for me who is inconsistently, okay, I need to find the right way of phrasing
I'm ready for this one. You're going to find the biggest caveat of all time.
He is inconsistent in his performance on stage, but I think he is consistently good when he has more of a reason to lock in for a game.
Oh my God, what a sentence that was.
So
was
when he's
just as
playing
convoluted as
against,
science.
in the past, when he's playing or even scrimming against Bjergsen,
Yeah.
he locks in.
Yeah.
When he's scrimming for no reason, he's a dirty inter. And during some of the regular seasons, not great.
Yeah.
But I think now, especially with so many people talking down on Dignitas, you can see the upright posture.
Yeah.
Right?
He's
He's not
locked in.
slouched in his chair.
He's locked in.
6.5 minutes before even champions.
It's kind of insane. And that's the weird feeling of Dignitas. That's the elephant in the room, in the Twitch chat. That's the elephant, where it's like, yes, in the regular season, they were up and down. They either looked great or disgusting. There was no in between. And then in scrims, obviously the whole meme of them not playing well, but that's also because a lot of the times they're not taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Playoffs is when you're supposed to take it seriously. This is when you're supposed to lock in.
It is. Dignitas, they have accolades and experience, but it doesn't make the difference yet on stage or in the eyes of the other pros in the LCS.
I think Dignitas are pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Like,
Yeah.
they're like they meme a lot about how like their scrims and stuff. Like, I think it's like they're really bad in scrims. Like really
Yeah,
bad.
like we're
So-
even beating them, you know?
I don't know what, like I can't think what they are good at right now.
I think they were a bit overhyped because people like saw high-profile names, and like they expected them to be really good.
It's just when I see those 5 players together, yeah, I mean, I know their names, but I'm not that scared of them, you know?
Overrated.
You got 3 seconds too, so this could be the last question you answer.
Sven?
When I saw people saying that they would be like a top team, like top 1, top 2 team, they have chance of winning the split, I was like, wow.
I mean, I think they're like a super team. The
Yeah.
roster looks like a super team, like in 20,
Yeah, like maybe 5 years ago.
2017,
Yeah,
2018.
exactly.
I mean, normally I feel like I have to beat my old team because I'm like, I have to prove I'm better, but it is Dignitas, so it's like, you know.
What did we pull? What was that?
We threw in the Jensen clip from spring.
How does that make sense in there?
Oh, man.
Who did that?
That's really funny. Overall, though, it is really interesting to hear how
Yeah.
pros are like, they give Dignitas respect in that these players are very familiar with stage games, right? They have a lot
Yeah.
of experience. We know that every single one of them know how to win, but it hasn't come together yet. And whatever is happening in scrims, which is the most data that pros have, they're just like, it's not happening. So like you said, Raz, it is the elephant in the room. It's like, will Dignitas be able to lock in together and show up like we know they are capable of?
Predictions? Will they be able to show up?
Technically, we already spoiled
What
the
do you
predictions.
Yeah,
think?
we
at the start
spoiled
of
our
this one.
predictions.
That's for people that were paying attention. We're doing it again.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, it's legitimately split.
Ooh, 3-2, 3-2. Explain.
I was talking to Flowers in the green room, and he threw out, he's like, you could tell me any score, any team, and I would believe it. And that is also
Right.
how I feel about this matchup. The reason why I am giving the edge to 100 Thieves, even with the kind of 2 clown games they had in their previous series, is that I do think Tomo's been a massive benefit for them, and I do think they've looked more cohesive in their games than Dignitas has, especially in their IMT series.
Yeah, and to bounce a bit off of all of the pros and pros saying they think Dignitas is bad, I see similarities between this Dignitas team, and I'm going to go back a little bit,
I'm ready.
and 2020 Summer TSM.
Oh.
Because in 2020 Summer, TSM during the regular season was actually a bit of a laughingstock.
Yeah.
This is when
Yeah.
Doublelift had left Team Liquid, gone to TSM, and him and Bjergsen were reunited. There were moments when I was on Team Liquid there where we were considering blocking them from scrims because they were so bad.
Yeah.
And then they won the split.
Yep.
Because in
True.
playoffs, experience matters to me more than at any other time. So that's why I have Dig as the 3-1. It's not because of
Wow.
scrims, it's not because of stage, it's actually because of the
vibes.
past.
So you think?
I'm saying they're similar, and in this series, they can win. We're done here. A reminder that the Kia fan vote's back now through August 18th. You can cast your vote for the Kia Awards, including All-Pro, Rookie of the Year, and MVP at KiaLCSAwards.com. Plus, participating fans can enter for a chance to win a trip to our upcoming 2024 LCS Championship. Terms do apply. Let's see what happens. I love the split vote at the lounge. Let's get in to Game 1 of the playoffs.
Dad says Dig's winning Worlds.
Did TSM? They didn't win a game at Worlds.
No, that was the night.
This season, we've heard a lot of talk in the LCS. Anyone can say they've got what it takes to step onto this stage and put their opponents in the dirt. But only the best can back it up when it really matters. And it really matters now in the LCS playoffs. It's a chance to show that your greatest achievement wasn't just a fluke. That you're not washed. That you're the heroes, not the villains. That the lights aren't too bright. That you deserve to be called Super Team. That you just might be the LCS GOATs. He's watching out, baby. Like 4JJ with a full team engagement.
I will not back down. If you hit me, I'll hit you back.
What season is it right now? Big season.
We're gonna 2-0 them very easily.
Oh, he kind of like stole my whole flow.
Welcome to the first day of the Summer 2024 LCS Playoffs. Today, we have a battle of veterans and newcomers alike. Will the young guns on 100 Thieves hit their mark? Or will the Hall of Heroes on Dignitas show them it was Dig season all along? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the kickoff match for your LCS Summer 2024 playoffs. Starting right now, I'm Captain Flowers, bringing you this one, joined by both Azael and Kobe. It's playoff season, it's TriCast season, but gentlemen, is it truly Dig season?
It's nap season.
Okay, it's nap season.
They're prepping up, get it the maximum amount of rest before this matchup.
That's a veteran move right there. I like it. We'll have to find out, man. I think it's going to be a pretty close series. People are pretty split on which way it's going to go. I'm really interested to see if Dignitas is going to be trying to utilize some of their experience to force lane swaps. That's something that Medios was talking a lot about on the dive, that we've talked a lot about, is the fact that these Dignitas guys have been around for so long, have so much experience in the lane swap meta, which really has made a big comeback. Whereas a lot of 100 Thieves players, they weren't even playing when lane swaps were a thing back in the day.
Were they even born?
Sniper wasn't.
Personally, I'm most excited for the new patch here. New patch for playoffs. And that is good news for both of these teams. The LSS was talking a lot about AD carries and mages, but also there were some jungle changes, and namely Dignitas covering their bases here. Vi got buffed. Vi was already good, and Vi got buffed, and Vi was what River and 100 Thieves absolutely smashed with when he was able to actually pull off early game kills and go for these level 6 synergies with like Talia and getting really nice combos. So I think already pretty good adaptation to the patch by Dig. They safety ban that away, and then they still first pick the Ezreal, which is still very good. Although here we go, 100 Thieves shifting it up. The newly buffed Azir, tankier now, can take more hits in the mid lane with the armor and the health regeneration. And then Misfortune, that has been so highly prized in the LPL, and yet was kind of strangely not highly prized by us quite yet. It's often paired with stuff like Rel, so I'm looking at that for 100 Thieves as we get later into the draft here. You want that big AoE wombo combo with her.
Yeah, we did see with Aurora last week in the LCS, which is actually a really nice combo, but Aurora is, of course, disabled for playoffs, at least for now, because there are some bugs with it. So that is turned off, so that is not available. But yeah, I mean, even prior to these Vi buffs, I honestly wanted to see 100 Thieves go back to that sort of style, because they look so much better in spring than they do in summer, with River playing early aggressive, physical damage junglers with having Quid on playmakers, these AP style champions, that duo was so powerful and so much a part of 100 Thieves' success. I mean, Quid was the MVP in spring.
River
and
was first team All-Pro.
Exactly. Like, those guys were such a good duo. And really, they have not been on the radar in the same way in summer. So I want to see if they can get back to that, play your style rather than playing the meta. That's kind of what I want from 100 Thieves here today.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they want to pair with that Azir. We already talked a little bit about the Vi not being an option, but Jax and Kai'Sa banned away, Ashe, Rumble, and Ivern also all banned out as it's Ezreal, Cassante, and Lilia first 3 for Dignitas. The Renekton will be the last pick for the first half for 100 Thieves.
Something I'm also really interested in is on 14-16, the Senna buffs were actually really, really powerful for this kind of Enchanter-style Senna. If that's going to really show up at all, it's more AP-style Senna where you have an AP modifier now and you're healing on the Q as well as on your ulti is so strong right now. Echoes of Helia Senna as well as like Moonstone, like all these Enchanter-style builds are so powerful right now. I was playing a lot with that, and I've heard from a lot of other pros who have been experimenting with it, and even been hearing some of the NACL teams are playing a lot of it. So interested to see if that is actually going to make its way in.
Yeah,
it's a very different style than the old Senna. It's it's not really damage; you're more like a Soraka almost, but it's really strong.
I mean, the AP scalings that it got, it doubled on the Q and they increased it on the slow for the Q as well as the big shield. So it's definitely a powerful pick. We'll see if they've put in their time practicing it. For me, I'm still kind of looking at 100 Thieves as far as where's their big initiation to hold people in place for Misfortune.
Yep.
And the Rel, to my mind, is still pretty good, although Ezreal is always slippery and always tricky to nail down. Dignitas right now, one more protection band to really pin down River. River, them dropping his pick here, jungle pretty late in the draft, means that he's going to have to dig a little bit deeper. Maybe 100 Thieves have been cooking, though.
Well, we will see the Nidalee banned away by Dig. They want to get rid of that best friend for Renekton. Braum and Leona, the 2 supports that are going to be taken off the table here as Zeri is also banned out by 100 Thieves. Let's see what they want to go for here. We still need to see a support. We still need to see a jungler. And Kobe, I'm right there with you. We need to see some engage for the Thieves.
I mean, it could be Rel, it could be Nautilus, like any of those style of champions I do think work quite well and are up and available. Instead, it's going to be Viego, so it is back to more of that style that we kind of associate with River and his success. Viego, not a Jarvan, not a Vi type, but if you can get those early skirmishes going, especially if you're playing around topside where you do have the Renekton, him and Sniper, if they can get involved around some fights around the Grubs on topside, get that snowball rolling, that could mean some really good things here for 100 Thieves.
Well, one thing that I am looking at, though, seeing the Viego locked in alongside of Renekton there in topside, yeah, they can be good at scrapping, but Cassante's build path is going to feel so comfortable this game, just being able to spam that armor out and be ready for it. But the Rel will be taken away, denied from 100 Thieves, locked in by Dignitas alongside the Corki.
I mean, it's interesting because Dig is clearly just going like previous patch picks. Like, this is just exactly what we would see last patch. I do think 100 Thieves is maybe a little bit different than what you would have been kind of expecting. It is not that AD mid. Of course, we were still seeing Azir last patch as well. But it is going to be the Nautilus as that final pick. So that is that hard engage for them, that lockdown for the MF ult. And we'll see if they can make it work.
I am so disappointed right now in Dignitas. This is the first Orianna Q buff since 2012. Since 2012, Orianna finally got a buff. Jensen's most played champ of all time, the Mage Master. And he still goes back to Corki, who also got nerfed.
12 years ago, the last time Orianna Q got a buff. That is crazy.
I'm so sad, so disappointed. But, this is just the first game of the series, okay?
Yeah,
sometimes in the first game, you go with the more general, like you're saying, go with more previous patch, go with more safety. And then once you get pressed later on in the series, then we'll really start to see the new tricks coming out.
And this Dignitas draft is really strong. It has a lot of range here with both the Corki and the Ezreal. Has become such a popular double marksman duo. And because as you're getting later on into the game, you have a tremendous amount of poke. It can be very difficult to actually approach around these fights. They're both also pretty slippery, tough to lock down, these marksmen.
I mean, every single champ that Dig got is tier 1 of previous patch.
Yep.
You've got Lilia, tier 1 jungle of the AP speed clearers, tier 1 of both of the ranged marksmen that have poke for later. You got Cassante, who's
been tier 1 since he was invented.
Since he was born, Cassante was tier 1. And then they got the Rel steal away for the big engage. All right, let's see it. Something that's interesting too, oftentimes, since we do have Tomo, the big superstar support, I'll call him, that came in for 100 Thieves and has really revitalized this.
ADC.
ADC, there you go. Has really revitalized this team. Him being on the Misfortune, I think, is going to be very interesting. Misfortune with the strut, with the crazy move speed that she does have, proves sometimes you can have some really good, easy swaps over to Grubs for 6-minute Grub swaps too. And since they're the ones with Viego here, I want to see how spicy 100 Thieves actually make this.
Yeah, and Dignitas all staying up towards that top side, so likely wanting to go in towards a lane swap here. We'll have to see what the response is going to be from 100 Thieves, who do have their duo up towards top as well. So both teams are kind of setting up into this, and if it ends up being that, it might just be inverted lanes, but 2v2 top and 1v1 bottom, because, I mean, Renekton's heading down towards bot, Cassante is going to be there as well. And now 100 Thieves should know that it is going to be this invade, and it is going to be a lane swap, going to be trying to be initiated here from Dignitas. But 100 Thieves already have their bot lane top, so it's going to be 2v2 top. And now the question is, do they try to hide and try to get some sort of advantage? Because Renekton is going to show now, so now everyone knows exactly what's going on.
Okay, we are just going to suplex the general state of the side lanes.
It's Australia lanes, baby.
Just turn it upside down. Here we go. 2v2 top side. I'm sorry, Emily. I hate lane swaps.
I mean, key thing about it too is you're having the jungler swap here. So we have River getting over, starting after blue buff, pick up the Raptors, make sure that you don't get pushed out of either side here. So it should be both junglers just collecting standard jungle camps, or at least not standard, at least getting the correct amount of jungle camps. Right. Meanwhile, level 2 achieved here on for the top side duo.
And you were talking about it, Kobe, but obviously 100 Thieves has been doing so much better since the Tomo swap. You know, he has come in, they're 4-1 since that swap, looking a lot stronger. The team really does seem to be somewhat revitalized, and Tomo has come in, is playing really, really confident, and is very motivated to try to take down Dignitas here.
Okay, Isles crashing down as he and Ayla trade blows back and forth, but it's really not a whole lot to talk about. Everybody seems pretty content in all the lanes just to keep on farming it up. You can see the gold pretty close across the board. Yeah, Jensen's down to 250 HP or so here in mid lane, but there's not a lot of mana left for Grid to apply a whole lot of pressure with.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see, you know, if those little buffs for the Azir and the nerfs of the Corki do end up actually making the difference here, because Kobe touched on it. Azir has got more armor as well as more health regen per level, so you know you are going to be a little bit more difficult to poke down, and likewise Corki dealing a little bit less damage over on the other side. So if you are scrapping, in theory, that could make the difference, where, you know, Jensen is getting kind of low on resources, but realistically, these kind of lanes just end up being farm lanes, and it shouldn't really at the pro level make that big of a difference. You know, maybe Jensen has to give up a couple more CS and base a little earlier, that kind of thing. But I'm not expecting this to be some massive swing in how the matchup goes at the pro level.
I feel like at the pro level, if anybody's ever really in danger of dying solo in Azir versus Corki, someone just committed some sort of egregious mistake. Like, nobody should be dying solo in Azir versus Corki.
Interesting, too, on the top side, we actually had the cancel here for 100 Thieves, and they're sticking around with the wave, as Spica was seen on the ward that they have there. So both junglers here actually returning to this red quadrant. Spica's got his support with him, though. River, better be careful.
The most powerful thing in League of Legends, a teammate backing you up here from another invade, and with the extra threat of the extra man, it's easy enough for Dignitas to maintain control over this 100 Thieves red side jungle.
Nice little +1 on camps here for Spica on his Lilia. His most famous of jungle champions, by the way. We'll see.
Man, that's a little dirty.
Well, and now, maybe to his teammates, not to him. It was 9-man sleep. He was the only one not sleeping, Flowers. But now it's an invade. River's trying to get the enemy Raptors again, but Spica is here, and it looks like Spica got those as well. So now Spica takes double enemy Raptors, defends the second spawn of his own Raptors, and it's going to be up to a nice little advantage as a result.
Actually so big here for Lilia, the power farmer. Faded Ashes purchased up. Full build for Lilia. Easily go into next clear because they still have their duo on top side. Take a look at this, though, because Ayla is actually going up River while you have Viego here, River himself coming down through lane. He's going to be a little bit delayed and just stops off on those Krugs, but they get the recall off no matter.
So I'm curious, Kobe, which MF build are you more of a fan of? Because we mostly see like BT Rush or Kraken,
To me, I love Essence Reaver.
Oh, you like the
for
Essence
mana?
Reaver?
I'm huge on mana. I love just spamming out everything on waves and just.
It's your option number 3.
I definitely am big.
Hold on, boys. We got some problems here in the top lane. First blood for River, and 100 Thieves are on the board. Tomo is low, but not low enough. Dignitas drops a man.
Huge stuff here for River to be able to get that. We mentioned that he was hovering coming down through lane, and he has stopped up on Krugs. Really nice usage here where he just hovers behind them, able to get the kill. And does invest his flash, so we'll see if it is punished at all. But meanwhile, bottom lane, another flash was blown. Sniper versus Licorice in the 1v1, where Sniper was very confident in his matchup, has been able to solo blow the flash. Meanwhile, Grubbies will be started up and should be picked up here.
It's not just the confidence, though, because Sniper hit level 6, and you could see Licorice was sitting at about 95% EXP on the way to it. So as soon as the Croc was able to pop Dominus and Cassante didn't have the all-out to respond, Licorice knew the fight was not going his way. Void Grub number 3 goes over to 100 Thieves, but the first 2 were secured by Dignitas.
It's going to be really nice as well, for River to actually get that first blood on the Viego. This is such a snowbally champion. I really feel like you have to play from ahead when you're playing Viego, because it's all about getting that first reset, about getting that first kill. That's where you can really take over. But Viego from behind often really struggles to get that initial reset and get that first body.
Yeah, Viego from behind feels, he's still making montages. It's just not the kind that he wants to be making. 1-0 for 100 Thieves, though. Up over 1,000 gold here early on, as Isles tries to keep River away from this bottom side scuttle. Spica level 6 versus River only halfway there himself. He knows that the Lilia is going to have a distinct advantage in any sort of a fight, so he doesn't want to be part of any sort of a fight. Spica can just walk in with Isles as backup and take away the enemy pool.
And this is something that we want to see from Spica. He has the flash advantage, he has the level advantage, he should be playing in the face of his opponent.
Yeah, let's see if they actually go for this on Sniper. Should at least be just taking this Gromp. Sniper, of course, has flash and ultimate to try and outplay if they do go for something.
All right, let's see if they want it. Doesn't really look like it. Just going to be happy with the first plate for now. They'll land any poke that they might be able to find here with those Mystic shots continuing to connect. Sniper does get the 2-man heal there from Call the Meek. Nicely done with that, but about time for the Croc to go home.
And Lily is just going to continue farming up on those camps. Nice interrupt on the recall there from Sven, so at the very least they're going to lose a full wave if he does base now, and he'll have to do so, so that wave will be gone. They're going to lose at least 1, if not 2 plates here as well, so Dignitas' bot lane going to get quite a lot. And on the same token, it's much harder to push out the Cassante on that top side, right? It's physical damage top lane. He already has the Bramble. He is going to be pretty tanky. We'll see if they want to try to force this dive.
They do! Licorice, half HP, but staying alive for now as Ayla has to disengage that heated up turret. Would have only been able to survive 2 more hits from it as Licorice right back into the turret, ready to go once again. The bullet time cuts him down. Tomo gets kill number 2 of game number 1.
Interesting. So 100 Thieves decide we are for sure going for the dive. Unlike the opposite side, they get their kill. Meanwhile, Sniper right back down on bottom side, full health. Just a little bit of turret plate trade going on there. So nice gold lead early on in this game for 100 Thieves. The constant plays here with River really being a playmaker for the team again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're able to just kind of force it in the face of the Cassante. And at the end of the day, they get just as many plates as Dignitas got, and they get the kill. So they're feeling really good about that. It is going to be that BT rush here from Tomo.
On the reset, too, they're sending them back out through top side. There is only 1 turret plate up on that top tower for their side to try and be able to push down and look for first tower bonus. But it looks like the pass through with the sweeper here. Try and take control of the River first.
It's a pretty dark map for Dignitas right now as River steps in, steals away the Gromp. Nicely done on that one.
Still playing the strong side here for 100 Thieves. Keeping River over here. Really want to brute force this one and push down this tower, it looks like.
Yeah, they're trying to race because Dignitas is already on this turret here. Licorice tried to clear out as much of the wave as he could on topside to try to deny that trade, and Sniper's trying to do the same. They both don't want to give up their lives, but they want to allow their team to get that first turret. We'll see who's going to be able to do it. Spica's now here to defend, but they have the wave closer. It looks like 100 Thieves should be able to win this race. We'll see.
100 Thieves are already winning overall in the game. They're already 1,500 gold ahead of Dignitas in these first 10 minutes. It will be a pretty tight race here between them. More firepower for 100 Thieves as Sniper trying to thin out this wave. Turret's not going to fall down to the bot side, so top lane, it's 100 Thieves getting paid first.
All right, the nice buffed up first tower bonus gold plus the grubs here being taken by River. Should be a dragon trade for Spica. Just head down to the other side of the map where your duo is, and they'll be a little bit slower on taking their tower, but should be able to trade the other half of the map.
You know, it's interesting because Spica was covering Licorice on the dive. I wonder if it wouldn't have just been worth him walking up and just clearing one wave there. Just play one wave with them up on top lane tower. That would have got them the first turret on bot side. You know, maybe you lose a little bit of tempo. They're not going to go for Dragon Eye anyway, though, so I feel like it would have been pretty worthwhile.
And now that all 3 of that second pot of Void Grubs have gone over to River and 100 Thieves,
It's a
it
pot?
just further, yeah, it's a pot of Void Grubs.
Yeah, they come in a pot?
Yeah, you just buy them in a pot.
Okay.
Like
3
crawdads
per
or something.
pot.
Yeah, they're like
Okay.
big Void crawdads. You get them in a pot.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, a pot
I'm
of
with
Void
you.
Grubs. It's
Just
it's
confirming.
a plurality.
Yeah.
Anyway, now that River has a majority, not just a plurality, of grubs,
Ooh.
that early one that they secured from that first set is that much more important because it does get them to the
The
critical
one that they
threshold.
stole from Spica's pot.
Yeah, it's the pot is now overflowing with grubs. It's like whatever Jack tried to do with the water. I still don't fully
I think this one makes more sense.
I still don't fully understand the water thing, but I understand that 4 grubs means grubbies, and that's what they got.
There you go.
Oh my God. All right, let's take a look at the setup here through River. Honestly, because Dragon has been delayed for so long, Dragon Soul is not a win condition that is close to us in this game. And so it's going to be pretty low priority on this objective. The stacking not going to be a really big issue here. Really looking more at those setups, if you can get the pick, if you can get the team fight going your way. And so with the rotation through mid lane for both duos, trying to get visual confirmation first. And even though there's still a ward inside this dragon pit, Lily is on top side. So 100 Thieves with the pot of Void Grubs and the first dragon that will be added to their objective soup.
Yeah. Pot of grubs, a little bit of lizard on the side. The soup's looking pretty good for 100 Thieves right now, who are up 2,500 gold this early on into the game. They're going to grab another plate now here in the bottom lane. Still 1 minute and 15 left on the clock to be able to secure more plate money if they can keep that pressure going. Honestly, it's been a really solid early game from them, from a draft that is something that it was not popular in the same way that what Dignitas is picking has been popular the whole split. The buffs that we're talking about seem to have mattered. And again, Azael, you brought it up a little bit in draft. This is the style that 100 Thieves were good on back in regular split for spring. This is the style I think a lot of people, including myself, wanted to see them get back to. And that's what they're doing. As Spica has to flash away to escape the Heartbreaker. River catching him out a little bit there. Tons of burst damage.
I mean, it is going to be a while before this Corki's really doing damage too. You know, it is increased cost of boots, Merc Treads, Rush, Corki here. Sitting with the tier stacking up and just the Hearthstone axe. So it is going to be a while before you really get that damage there. And 100 Thieves have been making good use as though River.
Isles catching River out. The Ignite burns him down, and River overstays his welcome in the enemy jungle. Dignitas, 13.5 minutes into the game, gets their first kill.
Yeah, he thought he was going to be able to actually take away the red because he had forced Spica to flash. He pushed him out, but Dignitas had the extra members there. River a little bit slow to react. Didn't have the ulti because he used it aggressively onto Spica.
Yep.
So did end up flashing over the wall, but the Ignite finishes him off and ends up going down. They do get some tower damage down in mid lane at the very least on the trade, but Dignitas is going to be happy to stem the bleeding a bit there.
They're the ones with the comfort of scaling here to their benefits. 100 Thieves don't have horrible scaling themselves, though. Have some really good team fighting options. Really good setup possibilities here with so many pick-style stuns. Viego, Nautilus, as well as even Renekton here. Big playmakers for them. So 100 Thieves definitely have some room to work with here through the mid-game. See what Ayla can actually set up with some deeper vision, though. Tracking Spica here.
So, gentlemen, the past 2 neutral objectives have not been contested. The second pot of grubs, uncontested. First Drake, uncontested. Even that first pot of grubs was simply traded back and forth, right? I wonder if we're going to get a fight for this here.
Well, Jensen actually was sitting on a lot of money, so that Corki I was so focused on actually has his Trinity Force now. So now they do have that damage with double Trinity Force coming in. So
I think Quid's just going to take the bot lane tower, and I don't think we're going to have a full commit to this, but we'll see. They're looking.
Immediate engage with the bullet time over the top. Sven gets chunked a little bit, but Isles escapes. 100 Thieves with control over this top side river now. And with Quid pushing bottom, Dignitas has to try to find a response. Looks like River's just going to take care of the Herald on his own.
It's just that the response is so difficult because Quid has the teleport advantage in bottom lane too. Yeah, he's split pushing. He could join at any time and try and push them in and do a big Azir shuffle. So if you've got vision advantage, which they do.
Ayla going in yet again for the dredge line engagement. Isles wants to counterattack him now, but the burst from Sniper's enough to kill Speaker to start the fight. River's the one taking the credit as Sniper has to fall back a little bit as River and Ayla have both been felled. Dignitas gets a 2 for 1.
Yeah, they got the kill early on to Spica. River took over the body of that Lilia, but everyone from Dignitas goes immediately on him, locks him down, bursts him down so he can't chain those resets. Tomo, though, still at full health. Quid pretty healthy as well, so they are able to take the mid lane tier 1, and no one gets the Herald off the back of it. So at the end of the day, still pretty damn good for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, I mean, all outer towers taken now. 400 Thieves. Here's another look at the attempt, but Hook goes in, and as you say, they immediately are able to burst down the single target, but Ezreal ult over the top as well. All of the AoE coming in, and then once Licorice gets here, able to chase the rest off.
Really like the buffer on the Pathmaker there from Licorice. As soon as River was going to take over that body, he was already pressing Pathmaker. He had that time perfectly, so he comes out in the Lilia body, immediately gets stunned up. Everyone focus fires him down. He doesn't have the ability to actually, get into that R again and start spamming it out and start looking for those chain resets. It's so critical to be able to focus down River, especially when you are going for these kind of builds. Like when you're going Blade of the Rune King Rush, you are really squishy.
I think still objective at least achieved here for 100 Thieves. Once you get all your outer towers taken, then they can start really making more use of that vision and actually find some picks for themselves. Dignitas, though, with the power move up to top side to get Herald is a pretty nice response. They can use the Herald to guarantee themselves one of these towers, even looking for an early play onto Sniper, although Nautilus is coming.
Oh, Sniper gets stunned, but the crash down doesn't find the follow-up. Sniper still getting away for now. The Ignite will not get him close enough to death to try to commit anything else. Spica does not end up using any kind of a sleep up there.
Well, they also committed so many people top that 100 Thieves make the call. Well, if you have everybody showing top, we'll just take another tower.
And they could even go back towards Dragon off the back of this if they want. We'll see if they move down towards that. It looks like River is going to head that direction. So they get the mid lane tier 2. They defend the top lane tier 1. They will be able to take the Dragon very likely off the back of this. So 100 Thieves getting a lot more off the map here. And it is now Sniper who TP back up towards topside, so he's getting pushing that out. He can't answer. We'll have to see if 100 Thieves can get out the back of this as Licorice is coming.
Is it a successful heist here? They get it, and almost everyone.
Looks like somebody might have got caught on the exit route, but the rest of the team's ready to try to follow up and re-engage. River chunked down to 1/3. Ayla's nearly dead as well, but 100 Thieves saves their dude. Nobody gets caught, and 100 Thieves get out alive.
Yeah, I thought the 100 Thieves were going to get punished for that big time. I mean, Ayla tried to flash over the wall, but he got pulled back by the Magnet Storm, so he couldn't actually create the distance to get over. And then when I saw River going in to try to bail him out, I thought they might have both died. But at the end of the day, they get the Dragon, they get the towers, they get away, and Sniper was able to push in topside. So 100 Thieves going to be feeling really good. They go back to the Herald. They should be able to kill this off before it despawns as well. So everything coming up 100 Thieves so far in this game number 1.
The snowball is going according to plan here for 100 Thieves. Good use of their early advantages. And Dignitas, although they did pick, all these tier 1 scalers, they still have the options for later. They're trying to mitigate losses. I think 100 Thieves, though, right now, on a very good pace as far as pushing the advantage.
But what we have to do is see if they can get that all the way to the Nexus. It's part of what the conversation about the difference between these two teams is with the experience of Dignitas in higher pressure situations in these longer series and best of 5s compared to the relatively young 100 Thieves roster.
And if you look at how Dignitas got their wins against the top teams, the single game wins versus Team Liquid versus FlyQuest, it was them using, very team fight focus, scale a lot for later, and then we will be able to win some 5-on-5. So they're kind of hoping that they can create that scenario again here. It's just that with this push hard on the bottom side and with Sniper being able to put the pressure on Licorice even in the 1 versus 1, 100 Thieves have strong control of the neutral.
Yeah, and with the Ocean Soul on the horizon, that's going to make things even more difficult. When you're playing a poke-style comp like Dignitas is, if that goes over.
Well, immediate all out from Licorice, looking for the fight against Sniper, but Sniper can respond with his own ulti and his own team. Quid shows up to pick up the kill, makes it look too easy for 100 Thieves.
If you watch the pros from last week, the podcast that they do, they had Sniper on there, and he was smiling from ear to ear when he was talking about this matchup. He was very kind about it. He was like, yeah, I was so excited to play against Dignitas because I think we 100 Thieves, we match up really well versus them, and I also match up very well versus Licorice. This time around, Quid had him with the safety of a teleport, but you could see already Sniper was looking to take that 1v1, and now with the Baron attempt, it is sussed out by Sven. Ezreal ult over the top, lets them know, and gets 100 Thieves right off of it.
Yep, the squishier build for the Viego. You already mentioned the first item, Blade of the Ruined King. Isaac's second item, Sundered Sky, means when this guy gets hit by the True Shot Barrage, he loses about a third of his HP to it. So when your jungler's half HP, they immediately get cold feet. They don't want to full commit to an objective like that. So good aim from Sven. Gets 100 Thieves away from the objective. But the problem is, it's not like it's really going to change their philosophy towards these objectives. 100 Thieves knows they still run the Rift right now.
Yeah, exactly. Not too much to break down on this one. This is kind of just a straight up 1v1 for the most part. And then as soon as the TP's coming in from Quid, there's just no way that Licorice can do anything. He can't even fight it out. All he has to do is try to run away. But of course, no way out. Quid arrives, easy kill picked up, donated to the Azir, and they wanted to see, can we actually sneak the Baron off the back of that?
Yeah, and it's plays like that you really have to shy away from when you are a team comp like Dig have, and you are trying to get to multiple item power spikes here for Corki, for Ezreal, and try and have your big, fight later on, because any bit of extra little gold, any extra time there for 100 Thieves to really push this ahead can be very detrimental in putting off your timeline that you're trying to keep this game to. Meanwhile, 100 Thieves immediately also use the Rift Herald there and get that one.
Yeah,
Plus
Quid.
push Isles out here.
Quid very aggressively actually just stood in the face of Jensen there, finishes off the tower, and got all that local gold.
Yeah.
So much extra gold going into the pockets there of the Azir, picks up the kill, picks up the solo gold on that, has 1,300 sitting in pocket. Now richest in the game by a decent margin, so this Azir is going to become a problem.
I mean, look at his inventory, right? Nashor's and Leandry's already completed. He's halfway to completing his third item, but since it's a Seeker's that's not yet broken, I consider it just as strong as a full item because of the ability for that active to completely warp an entire fight. This dude is a menace.
And he's got the Blighting Jewel off the base. He just picked up, had another 1,200, 1,300 gold in pocket, so does buy that, working towards some Spell Pen here, expecting some MR to be coming in, though honestly there really isn't that much just yet besides some on Licorice.
Yeah.
And Licorice is going to struggle to stand up to this Azir. Obviously did focus very heavily on building early armor as he needed to for this lane and to deal with River as well, but it means he's going to be kind of paper to Quid.
Okay, so this time around, can Dignitas get any poke damage down? It looks like with Misfortune coming from base, there's not going to be anybody to poke. 100 Thieves are just going to go straight over to the other side of the map. Dignitas get their dragon, but still pre-set up to this fight. Your Ezreal and your Corki rockets. Dignitas need a little bit of that to land preemptively.
100 Thieves was waiting though. The bullet time immediately deletes Isles. 100 Thieves found their first already, and they're looking to keep the fight going with the Nautilus ulti dropped onto Jensen, forcing him back into the fight as Licorice goes over the chicken wall, and now he's going to be run down by River and Quid together. He's still barely getting away while Sven and Spica have to kite it out back on the right. The fight continues as Sven is slowed. Licorice and Isles, the only two dead. A 5v3 for 100 Thieves means Baron comes up next.
Did Sniper bait them by walking over that ward? Like, they just used the Scryers on the Baron also, and then they still all walked in.
Yeah.
I think that was a blunder from Dignitas there. They saw Sniper walking up the river, but they knew nobody else was on Baron, and they still face-checked, and they got mega punished, but here we go.
Okay, Ayla chunked down pretty low. Jensen still trying to fire some rockets at these guys, but Quid goes in from a nice shuffle. He's got a rampage, and he found Sven. Speaker's still trying to get away as Jensen has to go full retreat. One Drowsy, is it enough? Yes, Isles! The cavalry has arrived! And he gallops right over him. 100 Thieves, you want to talk about a blunder? There's a blunder for you. Dignitas now with control over the river and control over the Baron pit.
Yeah, it's a huge overchase. They could have just taken the Baron. Instead, they want to chase for kills. Isles comes back, finds a nasty engage off the sleep there from Spica, and now it's Dig on the Baron here. Tomo does have his ultimate in 3 seconds. That's what they're going to try to wait for.
River looking for a chance to maybe go in and steal it. The Baron's down to 4,000 HP. The bullet time creating space for River to make his entry into the pit.
Oh!
He spikes it! He steals it away! The first team All-Pro jungler from Spring is right back at it! A double kill for the Misfortune! Tomo's popping off! Sniper's here to help him! A triple kill for the AD carry! And 100 Thieves gets the Baron and 4 kills to go with it!
It's Tomo time. That ain't no bullet time. Oh my goodness. That's just how they drew up the Baron play, right? It was a 3-part play. You get the big engage, then you give over a couple kills, and then you come in and steal it for yourselves like true three. Oh my goodness. True thieves.
I just love this. You know, they pop the ulti, hitting the Baron as well. It makes it so that Dignitas is pushed away from actually turning onto River, and also they can't just keep the Baron high health, kill the jungler first, and then finish it. They get it really, really low there, down to 110. Now we have Speaker's comms on this.
I missed a smite, my bad.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Kobe was saying with the 110. His smite got it almost there, but close doesn't count in the smite fight for Baron. 100 Thieves up over 8,000 gold now with the tier 2 collapsing in the bottom lane. 100 Thieves have secured all 6 turrets outside of the base of Dignitas. They've got the 3-man push here in the bottom lane, while River is about to join up with the main crew, and Sniper is splitting back in mid, getting ready to crash that wave as well. Jensen gonna move over, try to answer this one, make sure that they cannot get any more pressure than absolutely necessary onto these turrets, but 100 Thieves taking the opportunity. They are just gonna bulldoze through the inhibitor turret in bottom lane, and now the inhibitor is up next. Dignitas still grouped up as a full 5-man unit, but with Sven chunked so close to death, Dignitas is gonna have a hard time keeping the defense up. 100 Thieves now onto their second inhibitor. The fun in bottom lane has already fallen. The one in mid lane is about to go next. Top side tier 3 turret is also not looking so hot, boys. I think the Dignitas base might be in utter shambles once this is done.
I mean, it's looking like it. You know, this opportunity for Dignitas that you thought for a moment might have brought them back into the game seems to instead have been flipped on its head and maybe be sealing the deal here in game number 1. 400 Thieves. They get the Baron. They take so much of the enemy base right off that. And now Sniper is just slow stacking this wave, wants to get it pushing out. Dignitas is going to come up and see if they can overload this side of the map and maybe find some sort of a pick. You can see that Sven and Speaker are both walking up through the jungle, so there's 4 members up here. They want to kill Sniper before the rest of the 100 Thieves members get out on the map, but they're not confident to do it because they don't have vision to tell them where the rest of the 100 Thieves team is.
Sniper does have his ulti as well as a completed Sterix gauge, so if Dignitas doesn't send enough for him, they ain't gonna get it.
Also, Quid could teleport in to help defend him again, so definitely gets dangerous there.
Look where Isles is, though. Isles is still in the brush back there, and he's looking for the longest possible flank here. You have to go for a Hail Mary play. There's no vision of it. They're going to TP in now with Lickers. They're looking for it.
Exactly. They want to make the 3-pronged pincer attack. Isles shows his face, and now Tomo and Ayla are ready to turn. River coming around from the side here with a Spectral Maul. They will stun up the enemy engage before he can do a damn thing. Sniper just went into the enemy base instead. The first Nexus turret is already down, and Dignitas scrambles to try to answer. 100 Thieves have brought to the table a double kill for Rivers Viego. Spica can do nothing but run. Sven barely even able to step outside of the range of the steps of the fountain as that last Nexus turret is all that's standing. 100 Thieves get another one with Quid eliminating Licorice. A 2-man defense will not defend long. 100 Thieves came ready to play here in playoffs, and they are gonna take game 1 in a convincing fashion.
100 Thieves, late in the season, they sub in Tomo, the super sub comes in, and then he pulls out some nifty Baron tactics when they need it most in this game. Aside from that Baron play, though, which is going to be a lot of the focus, their early game was very good. Nice snowballing from them to control the neutral objectives, take all the outer towers, create vision advantages, and create those picks on a Dignitas. And Dignitas, this is a profile that people have been worried about for this team for a while. A little bit too slow.
All right, a reminder to everybody, single-day tickets are officially on sale for the LCS Championship at the YouTube Theater in Los Angeles. Head on over to riot.com/LCS Championship to claim your spot. Game 1's done. I know we all want to talk about the Baron. Let's head on over to the LCS Lounge and break it all down.
Thanks, Flyers. Welcome back to the LCS Lounge. We've got a full setup here. I'm at the PC in the Observer client. Emily and Raz are going to be adding value by drawing over top of my replay. And we've never really acknowledged the jank of this segment. There's a big wall here. I can't see what they're drawing.
That's
but
true. And I'm
this
playing
is going to be
defense.
great.
We're going to draw obscenities.
I'm blocking. You can't see what's being written.
This whole game, Dignitas was getting out-traded by 100 Thieves from an objective standpoint. Wave pushing, and that's no difference here as we set up for the third dragon. So at this point, they actually do have some items, and it felt like Dig might make it back into the game by taking this Drake. But let's see what they ended up trading from a vision perspective. So I'm going to toggle now to the blue side vision. And what do they see?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Just this one part right here. Just this one banana bush that they end up seeing.
Okay, good value. Thank you for that. What would you do if you're Dignitas here? You see Sniper. We should actually go back to when they're running off Baron to see if they could understand where 100 Thieves is. Because they see River here. There's a number of people that run into this bush.
Yes.
So if we're playing a game, how many people should be in this bush? Chat, Raz, Emily?
Oh, God. I would probably say one person, maybe two.
That's a lot of people. Raz, you're on the same page as Dignitas. Not a good page. Because they lose the face check. But then this was a really interesting sequence of events because we could potentially say that 100 Thieves overchase a bit. Sniper does burn some cooldowns, but you still think 5v3, it's time for Baron. So they go here, start Baron, and at some point you do want to peel off. Let's see when they decide to bounce away. They get the nice pick on Sven, and once again, at this point, it's 5v2. Jungler's still up though. Jungler has flash. This is why I think they're concerned and they want to keep chasing.
But watch Rel.
Yet they get double killed.
Oh!
And this is where, like, the game is still honestly kind of anyone's game at this point, 5,000, but now Dignitas make the call to continue on the Baron. And the big thing we need to track here is Tomo and his ultimate cooldown.
Yep.
Dignitas doesn't know quite when it's up, but Tomo definitely does. Checking the vision once again. He is on vision pretty much this entire time. Gets a beautiful ultimate over the top. And it's time to flip it. Let's watch in quarter speed this Baron. 1,500 health. Spica has smite. River doesn't look like he has smite. But it gets smote.
Oh, hell
okay,
no.
so I think I was a little early. I think he did smite Q it. I need to double check this one more time. What do we think? So yeah, he does have smite. Locked onto River. Quarter speed as the Baron's going down. The game potentially winning smite.
Yep.
Oh, he ult, smite, auto.
Oh.
Yeah.
And gets it from Spica.
Yeah.
That was the deciding moment of the game, basically. 7,000 gold up after this. They end up playing pretty good macro throughout. What do you guys think of the rest of the game, though?
So my big thing was, obviously, we had the lane swap. It was called. We ended up with standard lanes. When Dig decided to swap back into it at 6:30, that's when 100 Thieves really started getting a lot of incremental advantages. The things that impressed me the most about 100 Thieves in this game is that even if Dig was able to get something, they would respond by getting like mid-tier 2 or mid-tier 1, mid-tier 2. Like they were always trading up.
Yeah.
And that is something that we haven't necessarily seen 100 Thieves do during the split.
Yeah, Tomo, another stellar performance. Still only one game loss when he's been on 100 Thieves. One game into his 3 games of revenge. He also won Player of the Week, and Raz, you caught up with him before the show.
Yes, I did. What's up? We got Tomo here. Congratulations on your Week 7 MasterCard Player of the Week, brother.
Yes, sir.
How'd it feel?
Feels good.
Hell yeah. Have you done this interview before? Have you seen these things before?
I've seen it, but this is my first time.
Okay,
doing
perfect.
It.
I'm gonna quickly explain it to you. You got 90 seconds, rapid fire question. If you don't want to answer or can't answer something, you can move on to the next one. You ready?
Sounds good.
Perfect. Let's go to it. 3, 2, 1. What's the origin of your name, Tomo?
It comes from a sushi restaurant that my friend's parents owned, and we would go there like on his birthday every year and like get free food.
Yeah.
So it was pretty nice.
So just good memories. That's what it comes from.
Good memories.
Okay.
And
Nice.
sick name, so.
Who coined the nickname Filthy Frank?
That would be Digon. He said it in like an interview, and I think he did it on cast as well one time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What was the trigger that got you into competitive?
It was just something that I found really fun, and a lot of time was spent on my free time to play it, so that was a worthy investment.
And who is your biggest support structure in life?
Definitely my parents. I think at first they were like a bit sketchy about the whole esports thing, but during COVID, like everything was kind of shut down, and C9 offered me a chance to play, so I think they were like, yeah, just go for it. And
Okay. Toughest bot lane that you faced in your career?
I guess I would say Core and Yan. They kind of destroyed me last playoffs, but hoping for revenge.
You were the first Smolder. What about the champ made you gravitate to him?
He's like, I don't know, he's just a really fun champ to play.
Yeah.
I like his stacking mechanic. I guess as well, like he was a new champ, and I felt like all the other LCS ADs weren't really getting on the train before me. So yeah, I felt like I had an inherent advantage from like playing him first.
Okay, that was the last question. I mean, the next one I would have asked you is the better team, dig spring or dig summer. Question, you're going up against the team that literally kicked you last split. How's that feeling coming into the series?
Definitely exciting for me. I think it's a chance for me to show what I'm capable of. I think me and Al's last split did really well, and I felt like it was kind of unjustified that I got removed. Obviously, it's like all business at the end, but you know, I still hold like a little bit of a grudge because I felt like it was kind of unfair for me. Yeah.
I mean, that grudge has already started. You come in, you start kicking ass, and you won this bad boy here. Take this,
Thank you.
Bring it home, it's yours.
Cool.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Hello? Bro, what are you parking?
Seriously, what is that?
Remote smart parking assist. You can't park anywhere.
They could have parked there. They could have parked there. They could have parked there.
Dude, why'd you put your new rig in the basement?
Didn't you hear? Bill's a gagillionaire now.
Basically, my new connection is so strong I can game anywhere. Check it out. We've got Gamer Rocker, Gamer Floaty, Gamer Couch.
Whoa.
It's got wheels.
Gamer Bench, Gamer Throne, and Gamer Mower.
What's that?
It's hard to game while walking downstairs.
I get it.
That's smart.
Live like a gagillionaire with low latency everywhere. AT&T Fiber with All-Fi.
Okay,
Look,
keep playing
one shot, one shot,
okay,
one shot.
I'm TVing behind. I'm TVing behind. Go, look
Yeah,
at me, look at me,
just
look at me.
Sunday.
You guys can go, you guys can go.
I got them.
Yeah, keep going. I give you the
Don't be scared, keep going.
Cassante.
I can look Cassante. No flash.
Corki no flash here.
I'm gonna look Azure. Look
Yeah,
Azure.
go.
You can go, you can go.
Hey, sorry, I'll be there in 5 seconds. I need to flash out. I have ulti here. I'm just gonna sleep him. I'll get look.
Okay.
I get TP in 3.
I still watch. I stop watch.
Nice. Can we go Nash? Corki no W.
I'm coming.
Yo.
Nice. This
We
Corki
got
out
Baron,
flash.
guys. We got Baron. Take the...
We can still win this.
Okay.
We still win.
You're coming from A. You're coming from A.
Lilia. Kill Lilia. He has no flash, this guy.
Don't flash Cassante. Think Ezreal now?
He's dead.
Definitely have a bit of grudge against them. Obviously, I was replaced after spring, and I felt like I did decently well with Els. So I think it'll be a fun match for sure. I'm definitely really excited to play against them, and hopefully we come out on top.
An advantage for Sven.
Yeah. Well, and it's like you're hoping that they.
Yeah.
Are active.
Boom.
And Raz, Tomo's not a very bombastic personality.
Yeah.
You could say that.
There's a bit there for anger translator for what Tomo wanted to get back at 100
That
Thieves.
is true.
Because that is the angriest I've ever heard Tomo.
Yes.
That was peak revenge and rage.
That was unjustified. But it's business. He does caveat it with the business part, but you know what he really felt. And I mean, going into game one, that has to be the best feeling. You go up against an organization that benches you and you actually come out incredibly strong. And that Baron fight too was a big turning point for 100 Thieves too.
Yeah. Going into this draft, though, we see some changes already. Vi banned out against River just because of what he can do with that champ, but both Azir and MF taken off the board on Dig's side instead of the Jax Kaisa of game one.
That's a really good call out, knowing the game one adaptations. I think game one for Dig, they got trapped a little bit into essentially 3 losing lanes with Aurelia, which is really difficult to execute. The lane swap also didn't let him accelerate, so it was just honestly a very well-played game by 100 Thieves, aside from the shenanigans that happened around the Baron that ended up ending it with the Dig Baron throw. But I think they should be feeling pretty good about their prep and execution in game one.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me was reiterating how when Dig did end up swapping back off of their own reset at around 6 minutes, it was 100 Thieves that were actually responding and trading up. As we see Lilia and Smolder coming through, that could potentially be a Smolder mid. I'm guessing it's going for Tomo.
That's a Tomo Smolder.
Because Tomo is the Smolder guy.
Exactly.
He's the first to play it in LCS, and he loves that champ. He said last week he wants to play it on stage with 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and so like that's the craziest thing about all of this. There's a few players that will still be willing to pick Smolder in the LCS. A few of them are the best Smolders, which is both Tomo and Jan. And so it's great to be able to see that. Usually you'd see an Ezreal Corki at this stage for 100 Thieves, but right now they're going to be playing heavily around Tomo. So getting a good front line would be incredibly important.
And I'm also curious to see, obviously, Zeri is additionally a flex, but we've seen Jensen piloting that more often than not for Dig. And then I do want to remind people, Smolder actually can be a triple flex. I actually quite like Smolder mid. We've seen Smolder mid and Smolder top over in LCK and in the LPL, so that's something to watch out. But we see the Jax already locked in for Sniper, so he's definitely not going to be taking Smolder.
And I really want to see how the actual lane matchups play out in this game, because I think in game one, when 100 Thieves were the ones that had the Renekton and the Azir and the Misfortune, and they could push all 3 lanes, they then were able to win them. But now that Dignitas has the Renekton on their side, that they essentially blind picked Smolder, they're not setting up their champion select to win lanes. But if they could then win lanes on top of that, I think the series would be done.
Yeah, and it's funny because I know you mentioned the Smolder being a tri-flex. Overall, I expect it to not be a top lane or a solo lane, just simply because of how lane swaps have gone throughout the split. It's going to be tough to be able to survive in that circumstance. It's dig holes. I was not prepared.
Back that up. I need to see this again.
I was not prepared for that.
Was that a pro dig side?
Guys, if you're out there in Twitch chat, screenshot that, send it to us. I need to look at that poster again. That really changed my entire. That did have their faces on it.
It's Dig season.
We love that.
Dig hole season.
I appreciate that guy. Actually, me and Emily got to talk to him a little bit during the USA versus
Canada match.
Yeah. So that guy's a brother out there.
He's really nice.
He's great. So back to the draft. Let's head straight into it.
Yeah, I mean, both Rel and Leona taken away from Isles, and then on the opposite side, Kaisa and Nautilus taken out. So we'll see what 100 Thieves want for their R4 pick.
If they go max disrespect, they'll pick Alistair here. because it's the last engaged support, and they'll say, we can beat you in lane with anything. But it would be great for team fighting.
Yeah, and they can just end up swapping. They were just a far superior
Rakan.
team in a swap anyways, and ends up, you're right, being a Rakan. But that does mean that they're holding 5 pick for mid lane for Quid. Really interested to see what he has cooking there.
Which is smart. I mean, I think when this team was doing so well in spring, we already talked about the Quid Jensen matchup. You want to make sure that he has, if not a hard counter pick, then something he's super comfortable on in lane. We see the Kalista Renata coming out. So maybe that has guaranteed the swap from 100 Thieves.
It's very likely. And when I was looking at this composition for Dignitas last game, I was like, Dignitas I feel like has been most successful when they can play through Sven and Isles. And so I really wanted to see them playing through them heavily, and now that you have a Kalista Renata, it's nice to see it.
And they were essentially dared to do so by the Smolder blind, but now that they've done Kalista Renata, we get Xayah Rakan, which even though it doesn't win lane, can kind of hold its own against anything, and that's what's going to get put to the test here, Emily.
Yeah, I'm curious. I don't think Xayah is in a great spot right now, but we do see a few other ADCs being taken off the table. We will see if Dig will be able to come back with this composition, or if 100 Thieves will be able to take it. Casters, take it away. Let us know what you think about the draft.
All right, thank you very much, Lounge. And now, gentlemen, I'm going to redirect that one over to you. How are we feeling about this draft compared to the first one?
I think it's a good change for Dig. They said, we were waiting around all game last game, so we're not going to wait around this game. Slam Sven onto the Kalista, the OG Niels Sven coming in, trying to have some lane domination here with Kalista Renata, and they're the ones who take away the Renekton this time. You know, they're making changes to try and make sure the early game is not the same as last game, which is what you need in this series. They really have to make some big changes in gameplay as well.
And honestly, just the fact that we have River on Lilia and we have Quid on the Dragon here scaling up, I feel like I like that a lot more for Dignitas because it's taking them off playmakers. Like, yes, Lilia can theoretically later on Q flash and get a bunch of people, whatever, but I don't think that he has the ability to be proactive on this in the same way that he did on the Viego. And likewise, Quid on the Azir, he could make plays happen. He could get in there and shuffle someone and he could start something up. Yeah. You can't do that in the same way on the Smolder. So I do like the drafts more for Dig. I want to see, you know, are we going to get standard 2v2 lanes? It looks like just already based on the spread on the map, we are. This could be a pretty tough early lane for Tomo and Ayla. Rakan already, you know, not known as a strong early laner.
Yeah.
And now you're going up against Renata Kalista, which is a really strong 2v2.
All right, as we're waiting for the minions to spawn, we got Raz standing by for an interview with Coach Mabry.
That's right, I got Coach Mabry here. Just a quick response coming into Game 2. Reaction to Game 1, it was a little tough out there.
Yeah, I think they did a good job in the game 1 reading the swap level 1. That was like our plan going into it. And even though that happened, I think it still was going pretty well for us. The jungler got pretty, our jungler got pretty ahead. But once they were able to dive top lane and we weren't able to dive bot, both their AD and top laner got really ahead, and I think it was hard to play after that.
And a quick thing on the Zeri mid, just because now we're seeing new patch, but you're still going towards double AD carry comps.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like too much change with the nerf, so.
Sounds good to me, and
All right.
we're going to go straight into the game. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Oh, so it is going to be a lane swap. So 100 Thieves are going to initiate the lane swap. This is what I was wondering is when they were spread out, you know, line of scrimmage, I was pretty surprised because Xayah Rakan, I think, would really struggle against the Kalista Renata in the early laning, so they want to at least get some early levels here. Quid is just trading so aggressively. Jen's going to have to flash or he's dead.
Yeah, Quid got him! 1 minute and 54 seconds into game number 2 of 100 Thieves versus Dignitas. Jensen's back in the spawn platform and Quid put him there.
Just the matchup, level 1, you know, you just started auto-attacking him.
The guaranteed level 1 first blood solo kill baked into the
I mean, you got to beware that level 1 Smolder power spike.
This is like when you hear about from scrims and you hear about someone saying, well, he started hitting me, so I had to hit him back. You know, if I don't hit him, I'm going to lose.
And it's not complicated. You saw it there in the replay. He sidesteps one Zeri Q. It's like, you can dot. He sidestepped one of the burst shots, and then Jensen can't get out. And coaching staff is also hands in the air.
And I mean, when you're fighting him level 1, like the Q from Smolder is a significant amount of damage that you're weaving in there. You got multiple Qs out as well, so that is a lot of extra damage. Now the Smolder gets a freebie to start this game off in what is going to be a scaling mid lane matchup. He's going to be so happy about that.
Is this a good time to remind Dignitas that we're on a new patch with some buffs to some mages, possibly?
Mayhaps. I think so.
Maybe. We'll see, though. Zeri, of course, again, you can have some scaling later on. We'll see, though, because no flashes in mid lane might make for some more interesting mid lane passes, and lane swaps sometimes will get, you know, the top laners after they get pushed out, or junglers or supports or something. Currently, though, Ayla here, hovering sniper.
Sniper having fun.
Yeah. Top laners and lane swaps.
The picture of fun.
Pure, unfiltered joy.
I love how he just has to accept that he just has to watch every one of these minions die. Because if you walk up to actually try to CS those, you just die.
Oh, yeah, you're
so
dead.
you can basically only do it when you have your Q to jump away after last hitting one minion, or your E to walk up and last hit a minion.
Yeah. So once every 10 seconds, you get to use an ability and go in.
Yep.
Not bad.
I love this. This is our featured matchup of the day, everybody.
Incredible.
Top laners.
Top gap.
Swaps.
He's got triple his CS.
Woohoo!
That's more than triple his CS now.
Support diff, baby. Ayla down here, helping him out. Meanwhile, let's see if there's going to be any deviation on the first recall for River here. Faded Ashes picked up by the Lilia, coming down mid lane, trying to get some wards here around mid lane. Again, reminder that there might be more spice in this lane swap than usual, with both mid laners going ham level 1 and blowing their flashes. Of course, that is the side where the ward is, so River immediately finds it.
Licorice, you know, because there is not anyone really here to pressure, even if the Rakan was there, the reason the Rakan's covering bot is because the Rakan can't pressure top, right? So this is not, you know, really an aggressive early support. So Licorice is going to be able to likely get more of this farm. Of course, you know, they did base, so, you know, we will see the Sniper pick up that wave and try to push it out, so he'll pick up a decent amount of farm. But Licorice is going to be pretty uncontested on a lot of that CS up on top lane, since he was just in an isolated 1v1 and not getting as heavily pressured by just that Xayah alone. Ooh, and that's actually nice. He actually gets a stop on Tomo's recall. So Tomo is now dead and is not going to be able to pressure him at all. And this does get a little bit awkward for him now.
Yeah, even though 100 Thieves got that first blood, the gold between the teams is even, as Dignitas about to lose their mid laner again if he ain't careful. Jensen hops over the wall, was slowed down by the snot bubbles, so had to make a quick escape to prevent any further damage, with River showing up as a handshake from Isles brings Sniper a little bit closer to the minions, and just as you predicted, Mr. Azael, hop back away and leave.
Yep.
We also have the price of the lane swap at 3 turret plates right now, doing a lot of that gold difference that you're talking about as far as making up for the kill. So the mining that is going on the bottom side of the map here by the Kalista plus Renata is actually going quite well for them. Meanwhile, we do have to also keep our eyes on the stacks of the mid Smolder.
Got a lot.
It is nice and safe in mid lane, and especially when you get the bonus of a first blood really early on. And Quid, not only is he kind of rich with the first blood and get his early tier stacking up, but also stacking his dragon stacks very well.
Yeah, he's stacking his dragon stacks really well. You know, this is, I'm a Smolder enthusiast. Like, I play Smolder mid sometimes. One of the most annoying times is sometimes when people just only attack the minions and won't trade with you at all, because you get most of your stacks, you know, through these kind of aggressive trades, and when you're going back and forth, you can get so many stacks to really accelerate you. Even if you're perfectly, you know, CSing, you're not going to get to the really fast numbers. So the fact that Jensen was actually willing to scrap with Quid is even better for Quid, because that's accelerating his stacks, right? Like, having 50 almost this early on is so nice.
Okay, River coming topside, looking for Licorice. Sniper leaps forward, but the Croc does have his ulti. Sniper can tell no such tale, but need a little bit more EXP to hit level 6 here on the Jax. Licorice may still die here, but a slice and dice gets him away. Not far enough, though. Sniper picks up the kill. 100 Thieves is 2-0 on the kill count as Jensen tries to get away from Mom back in mid, and Quid keeps the pressure going, while bot side, it's Sven and Isles still controlling the tempo in the 2v2.
And that was a good at taking advantage of a timing here for River. the big wave getting pushed in. Licorice trying to get that one into tower, and so really good timing for River to go for that gank, even with the level disadvantage.
Okay, they want to bring Spica down bottom to make the 3v2 dive. Ayla staying alive for now. Tomo has his ulti, and that's why they wanted to focus Ayla down first, because Xayah can drop the aggro and get away. Spica now just going to farm up the Gromp. Dignitas is out of minions, so they don't want to overextend, end up feeding into a dive. Spica just going to try to finish off this jungle camp as the next wave is about to crash into the turrets. Tomo still defending for now. Ayla now going to tick level 5, gets a little bit more HP from that one, and Dignitas backs away.
Yeah, River there to cover. They're not going to look for a redive. Jensen again pushed back, but this is what I'm talking about. We just checked in. He was not even at 50 stacks. Now he's almost at 70. Like, this is actually ridiculous because Jensen is just trading with them. You know, and Quid is in this position of power now where he can take any trade. So he's just going to walk at Jensen over and over, spam trade queues. As long as it's even close to an even trade in health, it is so positive for Smolder because you're getting way more out of it. This could very well be one of these Smolder games where we're setting records for the LCS as far as, you know, the pacing. Because we are really early. He's already got that 75 stacks that he's just about to hit. When he gets to 125 early, that's where it really starts to accelerate, and you can start picking up, you know, all 6 stacks from every wave and things like this, and then start farming the Raptors, start farming enemy Raptors, and really going crazy.
That's why I like, you know, Ayla coming out here, as well as the extra control ward there up in the brush that's by the Void Grub River entrance. So they're keeping him nice and safe as he had such a great start to the game. Just allow him to keep on stacking and keep on moving towards their win conditions here. Top side again, though. River after Krugs will be sniffing around, and Licorice trying to suss out where he is with his little Tri-Brush ward.
Yeah, it's also interesting. Quid looks like he is just going for the Triforce Mormana build, so he's basically just playing Corki style build. Yeah. There's a lot of different Smolder builds that you do see. Some people are still more doing the Essence Reaver Rush. You do see some Shojin Rush or even Essence Reaver into Shojin. Triforce, really strong item on the champion now, though, and I do think you want to have some HP on this champion. You want to be able to really scrap with people. Yeah. You don't want to be super fragile because you have such good mobility. You just have to make sure that you're at least tanky enough that you're not going to get 100 to 0'd in one little stun.
Yeah, it should be pretty hard for Dig to actually pin down Quid later on because your mobility is so good. I mean, they can like flash Renekton stun him maybe, but that is the only real like point and click that they have.
One thing I will say is that there's no cleanses over on the 100 Thieves side, so you know if you can make them fight you in a corridor, if Isles can get a really good hostile takeover, that can be difficult. You know, even if you don't hit Tomo or Quid, because like Tomo ults it and Quid flies away, well, they're not attacking, right? And that can create that space that maybe opens up an opportunity for Dignitas to win the fight.
Yeah, I like Dig. They're already feeling the pressure of like, what do we do once Quid gets rapid fire cannon? Like, how do we close that distance? how do we pin down this Smolder? And the options are not great for them. So they're definitely going to have to create their own opportunities. Yeah, the clock is ticking. So you got to create your own opportunities by some creative vision plays, some creative moves for yourselves. Meanwhile, 100 Thieves doing a good job keeping the game steady.
And I feel like it's really important for 100 Thieves that Quid specifically is doing so well, because when you look at the comp from Dignitas, Isaac, you alluded to it a little bit already, but with Isles and Spica just able to vomit their entire kits forward, you will have a hard time just 5v5 running your heads into these guys. Yeah. But Smolder from 5,000 yards away isn't really going to care if he's just chewing on them over and over again.
Yep, exactly. You're spamming out those Ws, and like Kobe said, once you get the rapid fire, the poke starts to get really annoying, where every single time he has his rapid fire proc ready, it's a Sheen proc, it's a rapid fire proc, it's the Q damage, and when you're posted 225, then all of a sudden it's the burn, it's the splash, it's all of this stuff that becomes really, really annoying to deal with, and it kind of forces you to deal with Smolder, right? Smolder just keeps poking and prodding away at you, and all of a sudden you're getting whittled down, and you either have to back off or you have to hard engage. You know, he forces action from an advantageous spot for him.
What's going on the bottom here? Isles is poking around, but looks like they don't want to mess around.
He's having a good time. Top side, maybe not as much of a good time here as Sniper popping the counter-strike there, forcing Licorice back just a little bit, but I don't really think either of them's going to full send this. I mean, maybe they will. Could get a little bit more wild than I'm expecting, but back in mid, Quid, 115 out of 125, 10 more, and he's got that second evolution. It'll be so important for speeding up that farm even faster.
So early in the game, and look, it just keeps on dropping off more here on Jensen. Let's see it. Tier is also stacking quickly. Yep. I mean, everything.
I mean, this is kind of just the dream, right? Because he's even being able to prep all these minions to get the Q stacks for every one with the Q splash because he can't be pressured because he is very far ahead.
I will say, thankfully for Dig, they did get the early dragon pretty quickly, and now they're going to be able to burn through this one. Big benefits of Brand always, plus you have a Callista, so should be pretty easy for them to control this dragon stacking and kind of keep that as their hope.
Now they've got that going on, but now they got to be a little bit careful. Sven gets away from River and Ayla as Tomo still fighting with Spica and Isles. You saw Quid summon in Mom right there. Isles about 40% HP, gonna try to get away from it. Another sneeze hits him, he's pulled to safety, but now it's a problem for the AD carry. Sven's gonna get collapsed on. The blooming blows take him low. River grabs another one back on Isles as Spica has to flash just not to be the third dead body. It's a 4-0 game for 100 Thieves.
And 100 Thieves played that so well. The early force on the cleanse, the flash from Sven, so when he comes back in to actually pull Isles out with the ulti, Ayla is waiting for him, anticipated where he would be pathing to do that. Instead of just getting the support, they get them both. Really well done.
Beautiful pincer from the 100 Thieves. Even though Dragon number 2 goes over, they stay focused on the pressure that they want to create. Look at this. Now you're talking about River flashes over, Ayla jumps to him, boom, 2 for 1. And they had the mid priority of the Smolder leaking through, not allowing an escape for the other Dig members. And Sven knows it. Even though they got the objective, their hopes of stacking the dragons just dropped. It just plummeted so hard because they're not going to have the items to actually win those fights. And the next ones that come up are going to be really difficult for them to deal with. Guess what? Smolder's got a Trinity Force already. It's completed now.
All right, well, they're looking for a sniper potentially here. If he doesn't, he spots it now, but we'll see if he's going to get that Counter-Strike up in time.
Okay, Sniper. How are we going to play these,
They're waiting for the W. Renekton has it in 1 second.
Waiting a long time,
unfortunately for Dignitas, River is going to show up in just about that same amount of time as Licorice has to try to get away, and Sniper and River will clear out the wave and stay safe.
Yeah, it seemed like they weren't confident to just try to throw out the Seer Stun and try to hit it that way. They wanted to wait for that Renekton stun, but he used it on the trade right before the wave crashed, which meant they had a long time to wait, and it gave 100 Thieves more than enough time to respond. You know, if you telegraph a dive like that, it's really hard to make it happen.
It's one of the biggest strengths of Lilia because of the passive, and you're already farming all these camps. You're just stacking it up, so you're very quick to answer plays. If your opponents wait around, then you can be there for counters very, very often, and it can be devastating. And now, Sniper even...
Ooh, Sniper may have taken the bait. He jumps in after Licorice, flashing away after landing the stun on the Renekton. If Spica had the opportunity to get a spell down on him, he would have been toast, but it does create enough space for 100 Thieves to secure themselves the Herald. They already forced Isles to flash just a minute ago, so now it's impossible for Dignitas to challenge for this. 100 Thieves going to pick up that neutral.
Yeah, and Licorice had been coming out on top in this head-to-head, you know, throughout their time against each other. Hasn't been a lot of time because Licorice was obviously out of the league for a little bit after Golden Guardians did go away. But in game number 1, obviously 100 Thieves did come out on top. And you can see Sniper has just been playing this matchup so aggressively. He's constantly leap striking in. He wants to trade. He wants to take these fights. He's feeling confident about how that matchup is going to go.
Yeah, and those stats that series is from, I mean, that was so early in the season. That was pre-Tomo.
Pre-Tomo.
It was that was a different timeline then. And 100 Thieves really were struggling in general during that time. So this is a completely different look for them. And it's one of the exciting things that really happened in the LCS was some of our bottom teams had really good substitutions later that completely changed the game. You know, not just them, but also Boogie going in and giving a lot of hope there. But 100 Thieves, I mean, honestly, this is just looking so good for them, and it looks like they'll be able to chunk this tower so low that it's just 1 auto away, free money there. And now the map is open.
He's taking
now
the bot.
Drive home.
He's going bot. He wants another charge. If they can actually push them back, he might potentially be able to get one. But Jensen is down there, and the Herald is going to be really low.
This is efficiency right here. Get the Herald down bottom. You could block the Zeri Qs, escort this Herald up.
If it gets another charge, that's crazy value.
It's fine.
Walk it in. Walk it in. Oh,
Defend
no!
it.
No! Well, I wasn't going to get the charge anyway
That's
because it
true,
already
yeah, it was
lost
too
its
low.
momentum walking into the river. It ran out of gas. But it still stumbled into this lane, so that's good enough. Sniper goes in, River right beside him. They want some damage from an Agenza, but they aren't going to find it. Sniper staying alive for an extra second, but Licorice is ready to follow it up. But now the reinforcements for 100 Thieves may just kill Licorice instead. The zapping going to do enough damage, and Sniper has the counter-strike yet again. That's the first kill of the fight going over to 100 Thieves. Dignitas, their bottom lane duo, finally arrives, but the fight's already done. The dust is already settled. It's already time for Licorice's funeral.
Yeah, Dig thought that they had caught Sniper as he went in there. Licorice TP's in, but Ayla defends him. Double shield, the summoner heal, everything keeps him alive. Because it looks like when Sniper jumps in here, he leap strikes forward, takes a tower shot, the TP's behind him. He looks like he's cooked.
He does, but he is not. It's a true bait. Haha! Even with the flash through, like you're saying, they're able to peel for him. Ayla's able to get the shield on. They put him to sleep. And then he has the confidence. Oh, the team is leaving me the kill on the Renekton as well. Goes up, finishes it with his leap strike. Licorice knows. This game, it just feels so overwhelming in the favor of 100 Thieves. And after the way that game number 1 went, it's giving me pause for the rest of the series here. Things are looking dire for Dignitas already.
What is the next play for Dignitas? I have to wonder because, again, game number 1, it felt like they just didn't have a lot of moves to make. Now here in game number 2, nearly getting enough there on the river, but again, close just isn't gonna cut it as the Lilia can escape with the use of the flash. Maybe that will give Dig an opportunity to make a play on him again. But when I look at Dignitas' comp, they're really good at counter-engage. Brand is great if you try to jump on him and can't instantly kill him. Beautiful counter-engage from Renata. Sven also having really good counter-engage, but directly engaging themselves is going to feel a lot tougher.
Yeah, engaging themselves is tough, but like we've been kind of highlighting, if you are outranged or start to get poked down, that's kind of the option that you have left. The only option that you have left, have to just go for it. Quid here has his Muramana transformed on the Smolder at 2:05, so we are very close to peak Smolder gameplay coming through as well. And Dignitas, with the hopes of their dragon stacking already dashed, now they're just trying to create surprise plays, you know, and picks, and look for any sort of pockets of vision that they can try and use to retake some semblance of control in this game.
Yeah, and you know, obviously it is a tough situation for Dig, and they've been in a bit of a tough situation for a while now. You know, Sven had a pretty sad tweet after their last series last week, and they, I really think, more than anything, just need to rebuild some confidence, and maybe this could be something to do it.
I think Sniper's pretty confident in this situation. Licorice is going to burst him right on back, though. Sniper flashing away to stay alive. Licorice nearly outplays it, but Mom's a big old dragon, and she's dragging Licorice straight back to the spawn platform.
There's 2 snipers on this team. Quid's one of them.
Okay, does that really... She's as wide as the lane.
That's a snipe, okay? That was a snipe. Right down the middle there. Quid, what can he do?
A sniper with some buckshot.
Yeah. The target's 5 feet away. Show me what you can do. 6-0
He's losing the
game.
fight. He didn't even call his own mom. He called his friend to get his
Yeah, call your friend to call his mom
Yeah.
to come pick you up and get you out of there. Man, Quid on this Smolder, though. 226 stacks. There you go. 20 minutes and 37 seconds into the game. He is fully stacked up on the Dragon training, as Jensen is just in a real bad spot. But luckily, he is Zeri, so he can even get away from those types of plays. Yes, sir. Very fun ability.
Yeah, gets out of there, no problem. But Dig, they need something to get going for them to really try to rebuild some confidence. This is a team that I think has been struggling a bit with confidence. They have a lot of veterans, but they've been struggling in scrims. There's been a lot of talk. And some of the wins that they were really expecting to be those kind of easy wins, they lost against Shopify. They really struggled against Immortals. And honestly, Immortals kind of had to throw that series for them to be able to win it.
Yeah.
So I do think, you know, Dig is really in need of something to kind of ignite this team. You know, some big play. Someone needs to step up to try to turn this series around, because otherwise it is feeling so dominated by 100 Thieves, and they're kind of just in cruise control right now.
Yeah, I don't think 100 Thieves are going to give it to them in any way, shape, or form, because this team is a team transformed. It's kind of the opposite trajectory there. 100 Thieves now, I'm very excited for their ascent in playoffs. starting here with a very confident series, you know, making player changes, but also just the way that they've been playing. Plus, it feels like it should be a good patch for 100 Thieves as well. You know, we're seeing Vibans against them. I've been hearing, you know, rumors of Skarner even possibly coming back. Like, there's all types of possibilities. You know, Flowers perks up at the mention of Skarner, but I really do think this is going to be a very interesting playoffs for 100 Thieves, and excited to see if step number 1 they can finish off this series, but where they will go after that as well.
All right, you've got the Sterix gauge completed for Licorice, so considering he is the tankiest one on the team, even though there is no dedicated tank on the Dignitas side, he should hopefully be able to survive just a little bit longer on the front line of these fights. But 100 Thieves continuing their push down mid lane now. You can see the Zeal in the inventory for Quid. It will be that rapid fire cannon coming out next as Spica tries to get away. Hostile takeover ain't gonna get a whole lot, but Quid's gonna get Isles. 100 Thieves already found one, and they might look to make it even more. Flash away from Spica, just trying to survive, but he can't stay alive. Sven's gonna die next. Quid is picking up so many, and it don't even look difficult. Finally, Licorice makes his way in, should be able to shut him down. Ayla hanging around a little bit too long, but probably not long enough to really get punished for it here. 100 Thieves 9-1, and they aren't done yet. Licorice gonna lose the Sterix there. That last little bit of damage over time does end up proccing the shield, so now he doesn't have that, but he will flash in. Nice play coming out from the Dignitas top laner to try to staunch some of this bleeding, but Sniper is looking to cause a whole new wound. Down here in bottom lane, the tier 3 is about to be taken out. Yeah, some players might walk away from that one, say, I'll come back and get it later. Not Sniper. He doesn't care if he's got to go. That turret is getting taken down, and he still makes his exit.
Yeah, gets the job done. On the top side, Jensen was able to take down a tier 2 as well, so they get something back. And important that Licorice was able to get those couple kills, get the shutdown kill, get another exit kill as well to try to get them some hope, some momentum. And it looks like the call is we're going to try to rush towards Baron here. There are no eyes on it right now for 100 Thieves, but River is in the area, and he's about to spot this out.
Desperation Baron coming in. Sniper here does have teleport to come in as well. It's kind of far away, you see on the mini-map, but he'll make his way.
There is no hostile takeover for Isles. The cooldown is still a little bit longer. If 100 Thieves goes in right now, Dignitas could have some serious problems. River's ready to go over the wall here with a blast gun. The Baron's going to be taken low and stolen away again. 100 Thieves takes the objective. Sniper finds the stun on Sven, and Dignitas falls to pieces. A double kill for the Jax as Licorice and Jensen run towards the enemy base. Is there even a way home for these guys? Jensen just gonna get this wave shoved up. Licorice still trying to complete his back. I do believe the Gleaming Quill hit, but it was during the last little bit of the channel, so the recall still went through as Sniper and Ayla just gonna wombo combo Jensen here a little bit. Jensen trying to make it a 1-for-1 at least, and he will, but it's still 4 dead on Dignitas, about to be 5. Quid is way too fed. There's your execution on the Dragon training. All of Dignitas is staring at black and white screens. Isles just now coming back to life. Sven about to respawn too. A 2v2 here in their own base, trying to save the Nexus turrets. But Quid hits so damn hard, dude.
That is crazy. That's 3 Qs just through the minions. Almost kills 2 of them. Quid is unstoppable now.
Quid is playing like he was when he got MVP, right? This dude is smurfing so far in this series. Tomo trying to get away from the Pillar of Flame is going to be caught by it. The continued slow means he needs to flash away to prevent being comboed down. Quid is completely unafraid of anything, though. He is ready to scrap with these guys.
This is more like the epic dragons of lore than the young child dragon that is the lore of Smolder. He's fully grown up. Level 17, already almost 300 stacks. The rapid fire annoyance has arrived. Dignitas really got to be looking at what changes they can make in the next game, because 100 Thieves have been an unstoppable juggernaut this game.
I feel like it's got to be Jensen on mages, right? It's got to be Jensen on mages, right? It's like,
pull out the Orianna when in doubt. His most played, super high win rate. Got buffed on this patch. We'll see.
Yeah,
All right.
They have to change something clearly. 100 Thieves looking to put the finishing touches on this one. 4 members of the base. Snipers coming too, and those towers are low.
Yeah, the first one's already gone. Mom is going to divide the Dignitas lines. A quick grand entrance from Ayla sets up a couple, and it's so easy for 100 Thieves to knock them down. Isles and Licorice are way too low to keep on fighting right now. As more damage pours in from longer and longer range at a Quid, they finally shut him down. But that's nothing but a green light for the rest of the Thieves to end the game. They're on match point.
Not even 27 minutes in, the Smolder ends the game with 324 stacks as the last number I saw. Level 1 solo kill on Jensen. No, you did not mishear me. They fought to the death. Quid came out on top, and that really set the tone for the rest of the game because Quid was a monster, and 100 Thieves are rolling in this series.
Problematic stuff for Dignitas in this series, man. It feels so dire after these first 2 games. So much is going to have to change for them to bring this back. But a reminder to all y'all during the summer split, you could win a trip to Worlds 2024 or a set of 7 Player of the Week statues. That's one for every week of the regular season. Hell yeah. Use your MasterCard to make a purchase from the in-client store and save your card on file to be entered for a chance to win. Entry period runs from August 16th to September 7th. All right, Lounge, let's hear what you got to say. Break it down.
I refuse.
Dignitas is in trouble.
They are in trouble.
It's not looking good for Dignitas.
Yeah, they are. They are digging themselves a hole in this series.
Just like the sign.
Yeah.
Just like the sign.
True.
Yeah, we have some highlights.
We do.
It looks like we've glossed over the fact that Smolder got a level 1 kill against Zeri.
Yep.
But let's just roll it.
Smolder is in a great spot.
You know what? I agree with them. I don't want to see it either. Oh, this is, the Drake fight. This is tough.
So as we see here, Dig are getting set up. They kind of think they're in the clear. Mom only does hit Isles, but pause.
Yeah. What do we see?
Yeah, rewind a little bit.
It's a tiny bit.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Ayla and River popping this ward, going over, jumping immediately on Sven, even with the Callista ult pulling Isles back, right? Because like I said, Tomo is here. Quid has already dropped Mom and DPS Isles a bit anyway. And then Ayla and River are gonna come over here because Sven and Isles only have one way that they can go now and exit. And then Jensen is all the way over here.
Yeah, I think they made a poor decision right from the get-go where they tried to at least, basically when they're pulling out a dragon, they're going bot side.
Yep.
Where Zaire, Rakan, and Lilia are all free to open up on you. Whereas Sven, I think, I say Sven, I mean the Jensen, should be giving them space to walk through top side. So I actually just think they were just walking through the worst part of the map there.
Ooh, so this was, I think, a bait. This was Dig trying to do a proactive play, so check out the teleports coming in. But then let's watch how Sniper actually doesn't die. It's the heal from Rakan that keeps Sniper alive in this one. And this definitely made things a little bit worse for Dignitas. This is like the one time they expended so many resources, but like, look where on the map that is happening. It's just not a good start to the fight.
Oh yeah, context guys for you guys. He's already hit like 255 stacks at this point. Azael made it very clear in a positive way that he had like 70 stacks off laning phase alone. So Quid is already pretty set up for success post laning phase.
Yeah, and the big thing for me in a lot of these fights was just how ahead Smolder already was, right? Here, we see Mom come through.
Do we want to free the Baron?
The Baron.
Yep.
Stop it!
Oh!
Back it up!
Rewind it.
Slow-mo Baron. Actually,
this.
let's go a little further back. How does he keep getting in?
That's a good question.
Okay, so this one he just blast cones.
Yeah.
And Dig is behind a lot here, so they're willing to just flip it.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I actually don't hate, right?
Okay,
if you're at this position in the game.
All right, let's roll it slow.
Yeah.
Watch this Baron health
once again.
bar. Both junglers
Mom
have smite.
goes through. Ayla's gonna come in. Hits.
How low was it?
1K.
Yeah.
9.
He was there for a quarter second. He just didn't press the smite button.
That's tough. That's tough. But I like the fact that Dignitas is just willing to flip it at this stage. The problem is they're getting far behind really early on in these games. This game, obviously we didn't show it. Level 1, you're falling behind.
Yeah.
Last game, basically the entire lane swap or first 15 minutes. They need to give themselves an angle in some of these games, and it just seems like 100 Thieves are just that much better.
Yeah, we can keep rolling through this at full speed. I think this is mostly what the game.
This was pretty much 100 Thieves, like last gasp. As we see.
Taking a sip.
I like
Kinda
that
vibe.
tea. It's
Yeah,
good.
I haven't had it in my life. I'm not really. I don't have an opinion.
If we're Dig, how do we recover, right? Because for me, a lot of this was decided not just off of that solo kill, but more importantly, Smolder had Prio in that lane and got really far ahead very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And that was a deciding factor in a lot of their early skirmishes and team fights.
I agree. Jensen does need to play better. I like what they did, what Dig did in game 2 more than what they did in game 1, because before that disaster happened at the Dragon Pit, Sven was actually like 25 or 20 CS up on the Zyra Khan. So they had a bit of an option for something to play through. But I just say try and pick at least 2 lanes of Prio and give them the opportunity to do something, because otherwise they're not getting any kills.
That's where I will counter a bit, because I actually did think the swap set 100 Thieves in a much better position, right? So if you're trying to play around that Kalista lane, they weren't able to because of the lane swap coming through. And yeah, that was a little tough.
Yeah, and also, you mentioned lane swaps. I feel like, at least in game 1, they had the idea of being able to match. I think they just, if they feel like they're that much better in the 2v2 based off the comp they built, they need to look to blind swap, because, or at least blind match. Because they are getting completely destroyed in the swaps in both of these games. This game, it was like an experience advantage for the Jax, but it's just something that has been happening throughout this series, just needs to get better.
Yeah, it has been a rough first 2 games for this guy and this team in general. Game 3 is coming up, but first, here's a quick word from you, Raz, on how the Samsung T9 SSD helps you keep things moving behind the scenes at the LCS. Ooh, he's happy.
Hey, it's Raz, and today is my favorite day, LCS Game Day. We use the Samsung T9 portable SSDs on game days to capture and store videos on stage and behind the scenes. We record content in a fast-paced environment, which makes turnaround times crucial. These drives have blazing fast transfer speeds, which allows us to move large files between devices quickly and efficiently.
What's up, guys? Raz here, and I cannot wait for today's match.
Look what I've just made. The perfect pearl.
Not too bad, but check this out.
Whoa, a true Venus clam.
Red Bull gives you wings.
I can gags.
Check alcove.
Yeah, we're next to me.
Yeah. Nice. He's level 6, but...
Play slow.
Yep. I'll wait your W here. I'll go now.
I'm fine.
I can kill him, I think. I got him.
Nice.
All you guys.
If you give me E,
look at me. Kalista. I'm watching.
I can't reach.
I feel still.
He's dead. Don't die.
Maybe Renekton can be there. Okay, never mind. Renekton top.
I go bot.
Got you. He should just be dead.
They're gonna give him, looks like.
Oh, I might have fricked up.
Just don't die. Just don't die.
He's dead. Oh my gosh,
sure,
my bad. Sorry.
Just don't die. He's dead.
Yeah.
No flash. Dead Smolder. Jax no flash, yeah.
It's all you guys.
I think they TP'd.
Don't see Renekton team. Or Renekton bot side.
I can go.
Renekton slowly shifting mid, guys.
I can't reach, guys.
Done. Oh, okay.
Renekton go in there, guys. Renekton go in. I can slowly come.
Kalista dead.
Nice. Just go.
I'm gonna go
now.
Just go.
Yeah, you can go whenever, Bill.
I'm
coming.
Store barrel.
I'm looking Zeri.
Still winning.
Come Jax.
Winning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just fight, 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 fight,
Just
fight.
fight, just fight. Go mid.
You guys can end mid, I think.
We need to stall for Jack's flank.
We can play fight. We can play fight.
Yeah, I'm TPing. They do see my TP now.
Just go. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Just go.
Yeah, we can just fight it. We can
just go. Just go. They're flipped. Just go. Just go.
I'm gonna go
right now.
Just go.
Yeah, you can go whenever, Bill. I'm coming.
Star Baron, Star Baron.
I'm looking Zeri.
Still winning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just fight, 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 fight.
Just fight. Go mid.
You guys can end mid, I think.
Cancel.
That was our LCS Connected Comms replay presented by AT&T, voted on by chat. Yes, you, chat, the same chat that has been watching this series that has been dominated by 100 Thieves in the first 2 games so far.
I would say good vote, chat, because that replay had the comms that 100 Thieves have been referencing with Tomo. Did you hear Tomo's voice in that? Everyone else is, discussing things. He's like, just go. We're going to win this fight. Just go. We're going to fight. And they win it easily. And then he's like, immediately, go mid, teleport, we can end. This type of stuff, he seemed very calm and straightforward, and he was certainly correct in that it was a very easy win on the fight.
That was quite the poster.
Yeah, it feels some edge to it.
Honestly, I feel really bad because we had like the storylines of like, oh yeah, Tomo Revenge Arc versus Dignitas, but they're beating them so bad that you feel like a little mean bringing these things up.
It's like a guy who was picked on in school and he becomes a 300-pound Omega buff guy, goes to get his bullies back, and they're just normal dudes, just nothing special at all, and he is just suplexing people right now in the parking lot of this series. Summoner's
Hey, we
Rift.
got Jensen on Azir. Jensen on the mages has arrived.
Okay, he's back. This is what we wanted to see.
Series-saving game right here, incoming.
Let's see. I mean, they're going to have to get something going. I really feel like Dig needs to get something going early, something to build some momentum around, to get that confidence back so they can start laughing, having fun. Because one of the things that I've been noticing in this series is when you look at the player cams, Dig is looking unhappy. They are looking down in the dumps. And one of the things that really was getting people excited about this Dignitas roster was even when they were losing earlier on in the split, they were laughing about it, they were joking about it, they were having fun. There was that camaraderie that you really love to see. And so we'll see.
There's so many things you can just meme on. The smites here as well. River just yoinking away everything from Dignitas.
Yeah.
And River is on the Lilia again. I think very good pickup from them. But on the Dignitas side, very straightforward with the Maokai Renekton answers. And now, honestly, I think you do need to keep this trend of getting Sniper his champion in the first 3 picks in first rotation. Sniper's champion pool is a little bit smaller in the ones that he's super comfortable on. And so I do like this. Grab the Cassante here now, 400 Thieves into the Renekton matchup. He should be very fine up there.
And so Dignitas has a couple of big changes here. Obviously, Jensen going to Mages. This is something that we already talked about wanting to see. But also, this will be the first game in the series that Spica is not playing one of these AP junglers, right? He went Lilia, then he went Brand. This time we're going to get the Maokai. Maybe this is what they really need. A go button, a frontliner, a dude who can buy Zeke's Convergence and get shot and not die.
Well, he might be playing first strike Maokai in AP, so we'll see. It could be that build, could be the Zeke build.
Report it.
It seems people are still playing first strike Maokai in Pro a fair bit, man. So we'll have to see what it's going to be from Spica. But even with the first three, I feel like Dig are just going to go, all right, we're just drafting 5v5, we're drafting scaling, and we are looking to outfight you around objectives. We'll see if they're going to be able to do that. That has been, you know, the tried and true thing in the LCS for so many years. When you think back, especially to some of the older generations of teams when they were really dominating, you know, back in like Doublelift era when teams were built around him, it's like, all right, 5v5 scale, front line, that's how you win the LCS. I think things have changed a little bit over the last handful of years where teams are kind of bucking that trend somewhat. But these Dignitas players, you know, obviously came up in those eras, dominated in those eras, and I think are going to be looking to try to depend upon that here in a potential knockout game. Would send them to that lower bracket here, would close up the series.
Won't knock them completely out of playoffs, but it's so much scarier, man, when you've only got that one life left in every moment going forward. Ziggs, Smolder, Kaisa, and Leona banned out here in the second half. They do not want to deal with Quid's Smolder again.
Yeah, I want to see, because I'm kind of assuming, like them, that this is going to be a Tomo Zeri. It could be a Quid Zeri, but I feel like Tomo has been really good on the Zeri, and leaving 5th pick here to reveal this flex pick of the Zeri, which one it goes into. I really like this from 100 Thieves, keeping Dignitas waiting here, and now we'll see if it's going to be another Ezreal or Kalista from Sven.
I also really like the Nautilus pick specifically from 100 Thieves because it also denies it from Dig. We know that point-and-click CCs are very effective against Zeri, and they're just going to take away one of the preeminent ones. Prominent ones, dominant ones, whatever the right word is for that. It's one of the big ones that people like to point and click her with, and now they can't have it.
All right, well, Braum going to get grabbed up, so is a pretty solid answer as far as like denial, can be pretty strong.
Oh, please slam it. That would be a nice, spicy, kill-oriented counter pick.
This would be like
Azir.
a spring Quid pick.
And I would like to highlight that the defensive buffs for Azir were armor, not magic resistance, because they were aimed at helping him out. Oh, nice.
It's gonna be Senna, so it's a farming Nautilus. I want to see if we're gonna get the build that I was talking about.
We for sure
AP supporty build. I think we should.
Yeah.
The lethality build I think is pretty dead after the patch.
Yeah, they removed the scaling.
Exactly, all lethality scaling away from that Q heal, which was a really big change. It's a build that is very, very strong. You can stack up the souls so quickly, and you can be so frustrating to deal with. Like, it is really, if you're not used to playing against it, shocking how much healing can come out and shielding with this build.
Now, I also want to see more from Dignitas. I want to see them force a level 1 invade with a Braum. They need to stack advantages in this game. I think right now, the way that this series has gone, you need more than just some changes in drafts. You need more than just Jensen on Azir. I want to see them cook up some really spicy level 1, try and pincer somebody with a Braum, try and get some summoner spell advantages level 1, maybe even, you know, look for some sort of kill or something.
You want to see them play with some guts.
Yeah.
They haven't had guts the first couple of games. I haven't seen them doing a whole lot.
At the very least, level 1 invade and try and get the really deep wards to see where 100 Thieves are going, because 100 Thieves have really been running them around with the lane swaps, with the lane swap calls. And Dignitas, let's go. Game plan here needs to be in action very early.
Remember, this is it for Dignitas. If they lose here, they're done in the series. They're going to lower bracket. 100 Thieves would love to start this playoffs off with a clean sweep, especially with how rocky their regular split was looking.
And let's be honest, even if Dignitas are still alive, if they lose this series, there are a big 3 teams looming in the LCS. And if you're getting swept by a team that is not one of those big 3, that is really going to be tough to imagine yourself making it to Worlds, because there's 3 World slots, FlyQuest, TLC9, heavy favorites for it.
The big 3 and the small 5.
All right, while we're waiting on our minions to spawn, it's time for an interview with Emily. And hold on 1 second, Emily. We've got Ayla potentially in a little bit of trouble. Runaway Mr. Nautilus.
Take a lot of mystic
be a
shots.
whole lot of
but-
chance. Okay, there we go. He's down to 250 HP. He's fine. Emily, take it away. She's standing by with Golden Glue.
No way.
All right, we're still watching as Grayson is going to see
He's fine.
whether Ayla will escape or not. One thing I did want to talk about this draft strategy going into this game and the previous game is that you've been saving these kind of sneaky flexes, picking AD or bot lane in 4-5. Was this something you prepped for Dignitas specifically, or just something that you felt suited the team well?
Yeah, I think right now I feel pretty confident in like our overall drafting strategy. I don't think it's specifically versus Dignitas. I think it's just like having flexible picks in draft always helps you when you're on red side, and it helps us get an advantage. So I think it's just normal good drafting, I guess. Yeah.
And then the other thing I really wanted to ask you is how you guys have responded in lane swap situations and also just general lane assignments. It was really impressive to me, especially in game 1, how you were able to get advantageous matchups, how you responded really well to Dig. Is this something you've been specifically practicing with your team as well?
Yeah, I think lane swaps seem inevitable right now. It seems like a lot of teams are swapping, and it's just something that you have to practice if you're playing competitive League of Legends right now. So, you know, we're practicing standard, or we're practicing swaps, and you kind of have to know how to do both right now.
How much do you think your team has improved in that?
I think we've improved a lot, actually. I think at the beginning of the season, I was so scared of swaps going in with this like rookie roster. I thought we were just going to get absolutely railed in every swap situation. But we're actually doing pretty good, and I'm really happy with the progress and the growth of our team this split.
All right, well, all the best. Thank you so much for taking the time, Golden Glue. Back to you, casters. Take it away.
I actually really loved this move at level 1 from Tomo going mid because Ayla had been pushed out, so they can't just play 2v2 from the start anyway. Ayla's walking back from base, so getting that early chunk on Jensen is, again, allowing Quid to have prio in mid, and we know what that did from last game.
Yeah, I went back to investigate exactly how he... Oh, my God, that is big. that's bigger than usual.
I have so many comments I'm not going to make.
Someone saying something.
Yeah. I want to highlight on the mini-map as a more normal size what Tomo did there. That was especially...
I have to make that about size.
That was especially intelligent. He showed...
Okay, hold on.
You
hold on.
children.
We got a problem down here in bottom lane. The Eep forces the flash away from Isles. The Braum survives with only 50 HP. That is not a big amount of health.
Tomo showed on vision to the Maokai, to Spica, on this top side and stayed there harassing him, which allowed him to get that mind game and then wrapped all the way around the mid lane to come from the other side, which is why he got the big chunk onto Jensen.
For sure.
Thanks for that breakdown. That was
I
huge.
understand. Okay, all right. I got to remember what we were talking about. My brain's spaghetti. All right, River has control over the enemy jungle here, going to pay a repeat visit here to this bottom lane. It's a 3v2, should be a dive. 100 Thieves are going in for it. They know that Isles is already in trouble. It's first blood for Tomo. They know that they'll lose Ayla. A little bit more damage is all they need to pick up Sven. One last shot. It's a double kill for Tomo.
Tomo able to get both those kills here. Really going to accelerate the build. Spica going to try to find something back on the Quid. I mean, he's just okay.
No, dude, he's going for
He's got crab vision, maybe? Chicken
I don't
vision?
understand that. It's not like Quid is playing cleanse. You could at least get a chunk on him. That was bizarre.
It's crab gaming. It's where you game for the crab.
I guess he feels like it's just not even worth spending the time, that they have no chance of getting a kill, but Quid was pretty far up there. You feel like they
he didn't think like he could get anything because Jensen was probably calling, I can't follow up much, I don't have much damage. And so then he wanted to focus on either getting Raptors or on getting the Scuttle Crab, as simple as that. Didn't want to waste time, want to get something out of his time rather than just a tiny bit of health. But 100 Thieves and Tomo himself are, looks like disappointed that Dignitas aren't putting up more of a fight.
Yeah.
It's too easy.
Wants a challenge. Tomo's revenge. You can see there, giving him the Homelander vision. first player of the week and I get to play against Dig. It's time to get some payback, and the man is certainly doing that here at the start of this one. It's a 2-1 game for 100 Thieves. They're up 1,000 gold overall, and now another 2v2 here in the bottom lane as Sven is under pressure. Nice stun back onto Ayla to stop the further chase, but Sven still below half HP here.
I was really curious about this when he got the double kill, if he was still going to do the Enchanter style build. Clearly he is not. He picked up a longsword, so he is going to go very likely towards the more old school lethality style build. Could even go like Kraken or something if he feels like, hey, they're really frontline and I have this early gold injection, maybe I can do that. But I just feel like Echoes of Hylia into full support is just so OP right now.
I like the Echoes build, but I will also submit a Black Cleaver because
that's fair too, yeah.
You can instantly stack 2 stacks of it. So maybe if he does go that, wants to shred.
Ooh, Tomo has to fall back now as River shows up. Dignitas still trying to scrap for this one as Ayla's at 200 HP, has to try to get away. The sapling will do a little bit more. Dignitas keeping everybody alive, fighting off the Thieves.
Ayla was very close to tower range there with the little bump, but as you say, nobody going to drop, no casualties there, so just going to be a reset, and River can go up to his red / grubs.
I think you're actually totally right. It's got to be Black Cleaver. I think lethality would be so bad.
Yeah, it's a nice little change where it's just on this patch, they allowed Black Cleaver to instantly stack it. Before, there was this tiny little internal cooldown on it, but Senna Q, yeah, you can just
and then even in the patch notes, they specifically mentioned both the auto and the Q double stack.
Yeah, I like how sometimes they do that where like, what?
Hey, buy this.
People aren't going to pick up on this unless we specifically highlight it and say it.
Yep, so definitely a really strong item as well. And even sometimes in those Enchanter style builds, people will go Black Cleaver into Enchanter or sometimes Enchanter into Black Cleaver later on. So definitely pretty viable either way.
All right, 100 Thieves going to go ahead and secure a couple of grubs up there. The first pot goes their way as Spica wants to get away, but River is ready with the Eep and the Sleep. Spica doing a good job dodging the damage with a twisted advance. He just might live, but Quid shuts him down anyway. Tomo fires up a shot there with that Dawning Shadow, but it's not even really that required now, is it? Meanwhile, the 2v2 continues here in the bottom lane while Licorice versus Sniper up in the top side at the same time. All out Sniper isn't going to find his mark. Licorice getting back underneath the turret with the flash still intact. Bottom side, the 2v2 keeps raging on as Isles leads the charge. Ayla on the front line with a burst of healing from Tomo is in no danger at all.
Look at all the pressure that 100 Thieves are able to create stemming from that jungle there. River flash used, big CS lead, chasing him out, and they actually get the kill into the hands of Quid just as Jensen tried to peel for him with the Azir sweep, but Quid still got the kill, still more early money onto this Zeri. Again, another massive, massive early lead for 100 Thieves, which this time around have really good scaling options as well with the Zeri, with the Lilia, with the Senna here. And Sniper had been even pushing up on top side to allow River to go for that super aggressive invade. You know, Lilia versus Maokai is always like Lilia running around, power clearing, pushing the Maokai out, and Spica running for his life. Now he won't have flash for any sort of quick plays for the team either.
100 Thieves, again, just feel like they're playing so much better as a team than Dignitas is. You can see here, schedule update. We've still got some more games coming up next week with our top 2 getting the bye to not play here in this first week. But the victor here will go up against Team Liquid. So it's not like your path is going to be easy from this point forward. But again, 100 Thieves starting off looking pretty strong.
And you have to remember, we are going to have games on Friday next week as well. So we're going to have those 3 days of games instead of just Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, Dignitas wants to challenge 100 Thieves as they try to take this Drake. Looks like they will force the Thieves back for now. Quid ready to be a part of this fight if it continues, but the Drake is down to 2,000. Only Quid is near it right now. 100 Thieves might still look to come in here. Bowling ball goes through. Drake going to be secured by Spica. Now Ayla here on the front line. Isles is chunked down to half, but Ayla's the one truly in danger. Going to get healed up by the Senna yet again. Dignitas going in. This might be what they were looking for, but Dignitas is about to lose some bodies. River's still staying alive. Quid's in the middle of everybody, running and gunning and having fun and not even stopping. It's a double kill. Back over to the Lilia. It's 100 Thieves again, finding the dub in the team fight.
The fight was looking good until you realize Quid is still full health, still has the ulti, and he went crazy in that fight, getting accelerated again and again and again in this series.
Also like what Tomo did there, baiting and then flashing over the wall. They take down Sven. It is now 2 kills in the hands of the Zeri.
And we just might have another kill up here with a 1v1. Cassante versus Renekton. Sniper missed the third in Tofo strike. He needs a little bit more damage. Licorice wanted to flash it, but the auto buffers through. It's a solo bolo for Sniper.
He's part of the team. You know, bottom side, they win the team fight.
I'm here too.
Top side, he's like, I'll do it too then. Let me get that solo bolo. This kid, Sniper, is such a star already. In spring, he was the solo kill leader. He's doing very well as far as solo kills this season, even though 100 Thieves had a really rocky start to the season. I love to see that he's back to his old ways here up in the top. He was very confident coming in and showing it once again.
Yeah, I believe league-wide he was tied for 5th, I think is what it was in solo kills. So we're getting another one.
Okay, Ayla with the dredge line there on Isles. River lands a bowling ball, but not really going to go for anything there. You don't want to overcommit onto a Braum. Isaac, you know, the other day when you were doing play-by-play, you called it a swirl seed. And I had actually forgotten that that's the real name of Lilia's E because I just always call it a bowling ball.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me that that's not what it's called. And I was like, well, that could happen.
No, that is not. Dude, I wouldn't dog you like that on the official show. Like that, I was actually like, oh, damn, that's really good. I completely forgot that it's a bowling ball. Meanwhile, River goes in. He don't even need to hit the bowling ball. He got all 3 with the blooming blows in the front line. Still might just get taken out. He can't find the kill with the Eve, but a beautiful sidestep away from the last Mystic shot keeps him alive. Jensen goes in for a 3-man shuffle, a 3-man play, but it ain't enough. Dignitas is so disjointed, they can't get a damn thing. It's another double kill for Tomo.
I just feel bad for him at this point. River is literally prancing in front of them. River prancing
You're not wrong.
around.
He pranced.
He pranced with 100 HP, dodges the Mystic shot, stands in front of Jensen as they kill him. Oh, it is 100 Thieves all the way this series, fellas.
Season's over. It's Tomo time.
5,000 gold lead. Not even 13 minutes into the game. Here's another look at how it started.
Yeah, and I mean, it's Ayla finding the initial engage, pushing forward. They get a 3-man sleep, which was so big. Even though Sven has the cleanse, him and Isles have to retreat so quickly. And River played the edge of this fight so well, getting the maximum possible damage out, avoiding the sweep from Jensen, barely surviving.
All right, let's vote. Is it Tomo time, River Revolution, Ayla era? What do we got for Sniper? You got anything?
Sniper season.
Sniper season, okay. Straightforward. And then Quid.
What starts with a Q?
Q's hard.
That's actually the 100 Thieves emote that they're putting in, too.
That's so good.
That they changed. That had to get changed.
They might have nerfed the emote, but they can't nerf Sniper, man. He let him know.
He hit him with it.
He let him know. Their mini-map is not scaled up.
Oh, man, I feel bad.
Especially fitting after our discussion earlier.
All right, children. Focus up. Focus up. We've got to pause here.
I don't think I will.
Serious time. It's serious time, League of Legends. It's Pagoda Pog moment. Pagoda Pause.
I could go for some egg rolls. I'm kind of hungry.
Those are looking crispy. Crispy and juicy. What a combination.
Wow. That's
Yum,
yum.
yum.
Right there. So Spica is having a camera issue. He said he can't center his camera for some reason. So they're trying to figure that out. Hopefully be able to get that fixed up pretty quickly. And then be able to get it going once again. We'll keep you updated as soon as we have any sort of info. But obviously, 100 Thieves in a massively commanding position. They are crushing Dignitas in this game. And I think it's pretty surprising. You know, I wouldn't have been surprised if you told me 100 Thieves won. Not at all. I thought this really could go either way. But the way in which they are doing it is really pretty surprising to me because Dignitas is this team with incredible amounts of playoff experience. They have so many titles between them, and they are just being ran over.
I mean, look back to the predictions that we got from the desk at the start of the day, right? It was 2 Dig, 200 Thieves. All of them were 3-2, except for Jat predicting 3-1. But
and we
for
were
Dignitas,
all split here, too.
We were all split up here on the desk. I think everybody was expecting this to be a bit of a messy brawl type of a series. So I'm right there with you, Isaac. 100 Thieves winning? Sure, that's predictable. 100 Thieves cleanly 3-0 stomping Dignitas, which I would say Dignitas' chances of winning this third game under 10% now with the state of the lead and the current clock. it's rough.
5K 13 minutes in, right? Like that is a shellacking.
It is such a fun story from the other perspective, though. The Dignitas story, it's pretty sad. But if you balance it out with the 100 Thieves perspective, this is a team that people really want to root for because they have seen them struggle on stage for the majority of this season. And they really went through it. You know, Sniper tweeting out about how hard it was, you know, mentally to be under this high pressure and continue to compete at this level. And then having to bring in Tomo to replace Meech here for this team to now have such success is a very uplifting side of the story. And with River and Quid especially, where these two players are players that you know have shown in the LCS to have extremely high peaks, for them to be playing really well again, not to mention just the other parts you know, that were changed around for 100 Thieves, but for the individual play to also be rising. You know, we have Quid dominating on some very different champions, a wide variety there. So is definitely the other side of the coin.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's really, really exciting. You know, they're such a fun team to cheer for, such a fun group of guys to watch play League. And I don't think it will change a lot of the predictions given that their next opponent would be TL. But I think against a non-TL opponent, people are really going to have to reevaluate how they're looking at 100 Thieves, because this is 100 Thieves that is looking so much better than they were in the regular season. If Quid is playing like this, if River is playing like this, if they can play to the level we saw from them in spring, they really can be a threat against a lot of other teams in playoffs.
And I think it's good that you actually bring up Team Liquid, because if you're looking for some dream playoff runs, you don't have to think far back. Just think back to Team Liquid themselves. They were not considered the super team in spring. They were kind of mediocre through spring, and it was just in playoffs where they started to dominate the LCS, and then they went to MSI, and they really impressed everybody, and they're clearly the top team now. But that really started in their playoff run. And then you go back further, Energy with their magical run where they upset Cloud9 and went to Worlds and really impressed, you know, taking down G2 and doing the whole region proud. There have been very recently some good examples of unexpected, really big playoff improvements for teams and them finding a lot of success. So you don't really have to be too much of a dreamer to see that possibility or get excited for 100 Thieves.
I mean, that's kind of the excitement of playoffs, right? It is a bit of a reset button on your season. You have that opportunity to, if you can show up, if you can really make things work, especially since we're on live patch, we're on a new patch here, teams are going to be saying, hey, if we can adapt quickest, if we can have, you know, the new hot strategy before someone else, maybe we can really be the ones to take advantage. A little update, refs have a solution that they think should fix Spica's issue. Hopefully it will do so, and we will be back to it here pretty quick. But again, we will keep you updated. And until then, we're just going to keep on chatting. I see things being unpaused, so I think we are good to go, and we are getting back into game.
All right, there was a guy in chat that said just unpause already. That's all we needed to do.
That's it.
So
we got you.
Good call, chat. Thank you for that.
That was actually me. I did that.
Oh, nice.
That was actually the ref solution.
Cody's got it all figured out.
So they're slapping their heads like, why didn't we think that? We could have just unpaused when he paused.
It's incredible. As River wanted to bonk Licorice on the head, but not quite going to find the eep on that one. Yeah, 5,000 gold lead, 14 minutes into the game. The plates have not yet fallen, and already it feels like the curtains are closing on the stage for Dignitas here in the upper bracket. I don't really see the angle to try to get back into this one unless it's kind of like what you're talking about, that old era of LCS where you just wait for 45 minutes, have your carry scale up to 5 items, and there you go.
I mean, when you're this far down this early, it's so tough because normally you're like, okay, you want to fight on your item completion before they have their second? Well, the second ones are going to be coming in pretty fast here. So even the window on that is kind of closing. Black Cleaver is done for Tomo, as Kobe was talking about. So strong on this patch now. And, you know, we'll see if he goes into Echoes of Halia, that kind of support style from there, or if he's going to continue building a little bit more damage because he was accelerated with all these early kills. I mean, he's 4-0-7 this early on, so if there was a time to build more damage, I guess it would be more justifiable here.
All right, we can try and draw out the plan for Dig here since they're so far behind. I think the dream scenario is we get enough money with Sven mid to buy his Trinity Force. Then we get a Faker Azir sweep from Jensen, who just pinged level 11, does have his flash, and off of the pick that they get with that Jensen Azir sweep, they can get some objective bounties, hopefully, and hopefully that their pick is going to be on the Senna or the Zeri.
Well,
yeah,
speaking of that Zeri, he's causing some trouble here in topside. Jensen uses the ult and the flash, sidesteps the Dawning Shadow critically. Quid was thinking about maybe chasing him a little bit further, but ain't quite going to find it. It's going to be a lot harder to make plays with no Azir flash and no Azir ulti, Mr.
And
Kobe.
with no mid lane turrets, because those are going down in a hurry. They lost the tier 1. They got a charge on the tier 2. They're pushing up. They're taking the dragon. They're pushing all 3 lanes while taking the dragon, while sieging towers. 100 Thieves know the position that they are in, and they are not going to cede any sort of an advantage.
Yeah, Spica just trying to get away. Again, he has to ult just to try to escape. It feels like any sort of tool that Dignitas might be able to use to try to get back into the game is just being forcibly taken from them because 100 Thieves aren't giving them room to breathe.
I mean, look at how much farm is being taken away. Look at Quid's farm, 186. We're 16 minutes in. You know, he is so far ahead of the pace of these other carries. You know, over 30 ahead of mid lane. He's over 60 ahead of where Sven is as the enemy AD carry. And he is very, very fed, has picked up kills, has picked up plates. This guy already has 2 items done here at 16 minutes, where Jensen barely has his first completed. He's just got a couple of amp tones in inventory.
Man, I wonder, what did Golden Glue learn at that wedding he was at last week for this team? Because the players were joking around about how, oh yeah, last week of the regular season, you know, coach has some IRL obligations. He learned some kind of knowledge at that wedding that this team is just putting to good use because they look like an entirely different squad from the messiness that we saw during regular season, as now River may have just been caster cursed by someone. Nope, gets away. Jensen won't find the shuffle, and River's ready to re-engage with the flash. Blooming blows for the 2-man sleep. True shot barrage hits, but it's not even enough to grab the kill. It's a double for Quid. It's 3 dead on Dignitas' side, and 100 Thieves will waste no time, lose no momentum. The 1v1 in the bottom lane, both men still standing. Sniper is about to run out of the all-out, so he's just gonna leave.
It's all 100 Thieves all day, Flowers. Everything is theirs. They're going to get the tower on top of it. Despite Sniper not getting another solo kill on bottom, that doesn't really have any stakes to it. That's more just for entertainment. That's for that one was for the fans. Can't get it, but also doesn't die, just backs off, and the rest of the team has taken over the entire map.
Did I say it was a 5K lead? Because now it's a 9K lead after that. They took the tier 2 mid, they win the fight top, they take the tier 1 there as well.
5K lead at 14 minutes, 9K lead at 18 minutes means that lead grew by 1,000 gold a minute after the plates already fell. 100 Thieves is just demolishing Dignitas. And here we go again. Halo with the dredge line, but there's not enough firepower to follow that up. Thankfully for Dignitas, they just are struggling to stay alive right now. You can see Tomo just sweeping through the enemy jungle, removing every ward.
Probably next for 100 Thieves, since Baron is only a minute and a half away and they're so far ahead, they can just try and collapse down to the bottom side and finish off this secondary turret. Nice chunk of change inside that turret, and then they'll transition to the other side of the map after their job here is done. It's already 50%, so they just have everybody rotate over, already pushed out mid lane. Really good kind of fundamentals from 100 Thieves to be able to use this massive lead to just make sure that Dignitas have so few options. And now pushing in, it's been actually even Arcane shifting forward there a little bit to try and get something started, but the siege with the Void Mites there really doing its work. It's such a big benefit when you controlled the early game and got a full 6. You just have to have everybody show up at the turret, spawn all the Void Mites, tag it a little bit, and that thing will go down before the Baron comes up and makes it an easy timer to then rotate all of their vision over to the Baron. Dignitas have almost no hope of actually contesting that Baron because you'll have to walk through 100 Thieves territory and into such a massive item difference that's going to be rough.
And remember, in both of the first 2 games of this series, River stole Baron away from Dignitas. Both times, man. I don't even think Dignitas wants to go anywhere near the big purple.
So you're saying it's Spica's turn now?
I'm
That's what you're saying.
That if you're Dignitas and you're planning a vacation to barren shores, stay home, all right? The rivers are overflowing up there, and it's not going to go in your favor. As Quid, gonna get jumped on by Licorice, but he'll stand his ground and shoot right on back. Licorice trying to get away here from the onslaught as Jensen needs to escape, but oh no. The Emperor's going to sleep. Sniper and River still going in after him. Jensen kites it out for as long as he can, but they're so damn far behind. 20 minutes in and nearly an 11,000 gold lead for 100 Thieves with the enemy mid off the table. Down an ult, down a flash yet again. Tomo and Ayla 2v3, unafraid here in this matchup in mid lane. Sven already down to 1/3 HP. Tomo and Ayla take no damage because of the Senna healing. Isles tries to get back as Quid's unstoppable here in the bottom lane at the same time. Ayla takes the kill credit on Isles. 100 Thieves is breaking into the base. Baron be damned.
Tomo and Ayla just took that 2v3 straight up against the Dignitas bot lane and the jungler in their face. Didn't even get low. The Echoes is complete now with the Black Cleaver there for Tomo, and he was keeping Ayla topped off. The bot lane tower is dying. They're TPing in for it. Sniper is pushing top. This series is over.
100 Thieves making it look easy. Inhibitor down mid, Inhibitor under siege bottom. You can see Sniper going back to base now. He'll have teleport to join up with the rest of the Thieves. The minions are about to collide into the Nexus turrets, and Sniper will make his arrival through TP. First Nexus turret is about to die. Sniper is tanky underneath the other, and Isles is already dead. Licorice and the rest of Dignitas can do nothing in the face of a 100 Thieves squad that is this fed, this far ahead. Speak is dead, and Licorice is running all the way back into the fountain. 100 Thieves, in their most dominant performance yet of an incredibly dominant series, are starting playoffs swinging, and a haymaker collides with the jaws of Dignitas. A triple kill for Quid to close it out. 20-4, 100 Thieves clean sweep their first series.
They're killing Dignitas in the fountain. Not even 22 minutes in, the game ends, the Nexus explodes, 100 Thieves sweep Dignitas into the lower bracket. They'll move on for a date with TL. That I think after today, you start thinking, hey, maybe there's that little bit of a chance. Maybe you have to believe in a little bit of 100 Thieves magic, because they looked incredible today.
All right, let's go join Jat on stage for an interview.
Flowers. 100 Thieves, Tomo, Sniper, stick around, please. Congratulations on the win. Nice solo kill. I have to come to you, Tomo, first, though, because you talked about a little bit of revenge. How does it feel to 3-0 your former team?
Honestly, it was a bit too easy. Like, really easy, actually.
Was it, why do you think it was easier than you expected?
They didn't really contest us in anything. I felt like we just got away with, like, basically doing everything. So, yeah, I'm not sure.
And Sniper, last week on Pros, we talked about the matchup with Dignitas and that you were pretty confident. Seems about right. What happened this series?
I mean, I was just playing my normal game, and I did end up respecting Licorice while I was playing against them. So, yeah, I was just playing my game, and it worked out, you know? We ended up winning.
Do you plan out your solo kill celebrations before the series?
It was actually Grayson, or my coach, that told me to, like, do the solo, or like do the emote after I solo killed the enemy top laner. So yeah, shout out to him. He's right there, everyone. Let's look at him.
Okay, we can blame. We can send the fine to him. No, either way, congratulations on the win. You play Team Liquid next. What's your confidence level like now after this really dominant series?
I do feel like from the beginning of the split to now, I've like improved a lot, including like us as a team. So we're feeling very confident going into the Team Liquid match. We're gonna 3-0 them easily. Coming for you, Impact.
And Tomo, you've looked like a great teammate as well as a great performer since joining 100 Thieves, even holding the microphone for Sniper. How have you continued to settle in on Dignitas now that you're on your third week with them? With 100 Thieves?
Yeah, honestly, everyone's been really accommodating for me. I felt like really comfortable from the get-go, and I just really believe in the players. I think they're all like really mechanically lifted. And I don't know, I just feel like I slotted in really well on this team. Like from the start of the first day of scrims, everything like already clicked from the first game, I felt like. So I don't know, everything was so easy so far.
I have noticed it because you're still so quick with this team. I don't think you have a name on the back of your jersey that says Tomo. So we can fix it right now. We're gonna put some tape on the back for you.
Thank you.
And then Sniper, if you want to do the honors and write in Tomo. This is gonna work. You can do the Tomo. Hopefully, you get to have a nice long playoff run. Congratulations, Tomo and Sniper, once again on the win. 100 Thieves Tomo.
Thank you.
every series you've been on this team, you've been able to get the win. Good luck next week against Team Liquid. We're down from here. Send it to the lounge.
Thank you so much.
Guys, what the hell was that? That was a fast day.
I did not realize what this would look like
It doesn't
visually,
look great.
And it looks like the couch is eating me. All right.
I'm being buried by cushions. No,
Yeah.
let's be serious about this.
The actual great thing, especially, I brought it up in my discussion with Grayson really quickly. Game 1 was the closest game, and the thing I saw from 100 Thieves there that I really liked was that they were able to respond with good lane assignments, and they were able to, they looked more studied in the swap. Whereas we talked about Dig, one of the things that they needed to improve on was being prepared to go up against lane swaps. And it didn't look good again today. The series got, let's say, progressively distant from Dig as it went on. But props to 100 Thieves. I think I really, really have liked what I've seen from this team, especially with Tomo coming onto the roster.
I love the segue on that one because, yes, they felt like they were a better, well-rounded team, but then better individuals. You mentioned Tomo. We still have to award Player of the Series. Who do you guys think won that one?
I already know who I voted for.
3, 2, 1. Mr. Quiddington!
Let's go!
Quidward wins it himself. Talk about Quid throughout the series.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big play that everyone's going to look at is that kill onto Jensen really early on in game 2. But he had such a strong mid-prio, as we see that again, that got this Smolder just absolutely rolling way earlier than we had expected.
Yeah.
I loved the Smolder mid swap. I actually really liked what 100 Thieves did in their drafts to set both Quid and Tomo up for success. And Quid was such a huge part of how this team performed really well in spring. He's back.
True.
100 Thieves are rolling.
That's one of those things is we felt like if it was going to be 100 Thieves having a run during the playoffs, it had to be both River and Quid really coming through for this team. And I think it's been the team as a whole. Whenever it comes to Player of the Series or Player of the Game, anything like that, a lot of the times, if it's a stomp, every player had a hand in it. So we saw a replay of basically everyone just stomping, but Quid was the highlight, at least in this series. So that's pretty nice to see from them. Let's take a look at the bracket to see where that leaves 100 Thieves, who they go up against next. That's going to be Team Liquid.
That's going to be tough. That is going to be really tough.
Yes, it is.
It's a good thing that Golden Glue said they were practicing lean swaps. But yeah, we'll see them go up against TL. I think with the improvements they made, it's still going to be a very difficult matchup. And as you see, Dig drop down to the losers bracket to await the loser of FlyQuest NRG tomorrow.
It's funny because I'm now invested. I love storyline.
True.
I love storytelling. I'm invested in the Revenge Tour. He just beat Dignitas. But remember who kicked Dignitas when Tomo was on that team out of playoffs last split?
Who was it, Raz?
Team Liquid.
Sure.
Just putting it out there. Of course, Team Liquid is a demon right now, but right now, maybe Tomo can make it happen. Now, of course, that's going to be it for us. Remember, we will be back here tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, and we're going to be throwing it to the NACL.
Playoffs started. Blue Otter versus Supernova, I believe, is up first. And then FlyQuest Challengers versus TL Challengers, which is a surprise to see in the first round. Blue Otter have been an insane story, so check them out.
True. We're going to be throwing it to that one there. But remember, tomorrow, FlyQuest, NRG, same time, same place. Take it easy.
Something to throw at the camera.
I'm going to throw this.
Hello? It's not going to make it.
Okay, one shot. I'm TVing behind. Look at me. Just Sunday. You guys can go.
I got them.
Yeah, keep going. I give you look. Don't be scared. Keep going.
Cassante.
I can look Cassante.
I have ulti here. I'm just gonna sleep him. Okay, look.
Okay. I can TV in 3. I still watch. Hashtag watch.
Nice. Can we go Nash?
I'm coming.
Heal. Nice. We go Baron, guys. We go Baron. Take the...
We can still win this.
Okay.
We still win. I gotta play pretend CS for a minute. Oh, you guys are too good, bro.
Nice.
We got carried. Actually got carried. Good job.
You're next to me.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think top guys.
Run away. I'm fine, I think. He slapped me?
He might flash over.
Yeah,
Spot is looking. Liz looking too. It looks really bad. I'm here, but...
Look here, it's not bad.
It's really bad.
Okay.
Just go.
I'm gonna go
right now. Yeah, you can go whenever, Bill.
I'm
coming. Star Baron. I'm looking serious.
Come down.
Meaning.
Yep. Just
I'm
fight.
killing the entire
Just
line.
fight, just fight. Go mid.
You guys can end mid, I think. Yeah. I think I can kill him.
I'm base,
Oh,
okay?
Tomo.
I'm thinking you can kill me.
You okay, bro? Miss now. Oh, bro, bot.
Oh, frick my life.
I have ulti.
I want to keep
got him,
saying,
I
bro.
got him. No
Ooh,
flash.
wow.
One more.
This reminds me of the
One
freaking
more.
Cloud9
Right here,
game,
right here.
guys.
Nice.
This reminds me of the
One
C9 series,
more.
no?
Kill. Nice.
I don't know
They
that.
need to do the job. Freaking 0 dots. Yeah, guys. Freaking good job.